Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, King Engine of One Punch Man. Chapter 61. Attention to residents of City M, and to residents of City M. The Heroes Association has urgently notified that 3 ghost-level monsters were found on ZU Street in M City. They are Allosaurus, Earthquake Dragon and Velociraptor. Residents of City M are requested to stay away from ZU Street. Refers to Moon Street. Saitama and King were on their way to L City. When they heard the alarm of the association's weird alarm, they immediately braked to stop their steps. Saitama looked at King. "Hey, do you know where ZU Street is?" What do you mean? I'm a famous person anyway. Can you respect me as a bald man? I don't want face. King sullened his face and pointed in one direction. If we go straight to the southeast, we mean Moon Street. Oh, leave. Saitama made a running posture, squeezed his hands into fists and folded it in front of his chest. His feet turned into extremely fast rolling wheels, swished out a few hundred meters, and blinked again. The person was gone, leaving only a few whirlpools. You work, I miss you. King didn't worry. He slowly drifted over to ZU Street. There were 3 ghost-level weirdos at the same time. Rare ghost-level weirdos were dispatched together. Action. Ghost-level weirdos are rare today to join forces, and it is estimated that there are smart people who match up. Boom. When he approached ZU Street, he was stunned to find that the surrounding houses seemed to be alive, throbbing like a heart, and the earth was slightly ups and downs, tearing open cracks. This is an earthquake. He swept the surrounding tall buildings vigilantly, for fear that the tall buildings would collapse and hit him because of the shaking. He cautiously avoided high-rise buildings and drifted all the way to ZU Street. After a while, his body suddenly stopped, staring dumbfounded at the dinosaur man not far in front of him. The total length of the dinosaur man is estimated to be 40 to 50 meters, with a neck of more than 10 meters and a tail of more than 10 meters. It has a hill-like body, and when walking, step by step, deep pit, that huge figure and amazing weight make the earth shake. What kind of ghost dinosaur? In his previous life, most of his knowledge of dinosaurs was obtained from the Jurassic Park series of movies and the Blue Cat's Naughty 3000 Questions dinosaur era. However, he has never heard of such a huge dinosaur, which is a dinosaur. It is a prehistoric behemoth. Insignificant human being. I am the Lord Earthquake Dragon who is as heavy as a mountain. You can step on the house with 1 foot. You dare to come into a daze in front of Lord Ben, really ignorant and fearless guy. When King was surprised by the huge size of the Earthquake Dragon, the long neck of the Earthquake Dragon was bent down, and his eyes were fixed under it, and the voice was full of anger in the words of Hongzong. It's staring at Saitama, right? Because of the concealment of the building, King could not see the specific situation there, but the person who made the Earthquake Dragon think that he was underestimated was probably only Saitama, who was inertially in a daze. Other ordinary citizens were scared to pee when they encountered the Earthquake Dragon. How could it be possible? Let the Earthquake Dragon mistakenly think that he is being despised. Well, I don't know if it is the size of the Earthquake Dragon or the size of the giant that will appear in the future. King thoughtfully. He clearly remembered that in the near future, a weird man who took medicine and turned into a giant would appear. The giant slapped City D. According to this record, it is speculated that the city can be wiped out. The height of the giant is probably going to the sky, and the Earthquake Dragon standing in front of the giant is probably just a small point. Boom. As King fell into contemplation, the battle between Saitama and the Seismic Dragon began, and a huge collapse sound was heard, and a large amount of dust was shaken under the sturdy feet of the Seismic Dragon. The mountain is trampled on. The Earthquake Dragon roared, and the 2 sturdy feet in front of the body were raised high, and after a pause in the air for half a second, they slammed on them again. Rumble. There was a thunder, the earth shook, the surrounding high-rise buildings shook because of the shaking of the foundation, and the windows rustled down. Withdraw. Come back after the battle is over. King looked at the swaying building around him. In order to avoid being caught, he decided to retreat temporarily and waited for Saitama to solve the 3 weirdos before returning to collect cards. Tisk, what a great character I thought I was. I didn't expect to be trampled to death by your foot. Alas, Allosaurus also specially asked me to cruise around looking for a chance to give him a fatal blow. It seems that Allosaurus is so heartbroken. Now, this man is just a scared coward. At this time, there will be a black shadow moving on the walls of several high-rise buildings. The speed of the black shadow is extremely fast. This is the second ghost-level dinosaur Velociraptor. King stared at the erratic shadow. In the association's report, it was clear that there were 3 ghost-level dinosaurs walking together and fighting together. The shadow in front of him should be the second ghost-level dinosaur, Velociraptor. The other one who didn't show up should be Allosaurus. Velociraptor, don't be careless. There are many strong men in this world. For example, King is known as the strongest man on the surface. Odds of winning. Hey, Allosaurus, you have been too cautious and delayed us too much time, otherwise we would have destroyed M City long ago. I suggest that we act separately and wipe out the humans in M City as soon as possible. HMPH, didn't you listen to the announcement of the Heroes Association just now? The Ankylosaurus acting alone has gone to hell, indicating that the strongmen of the Heroes Association have been dispatched. If we don't cooperate sincerely, the end of the Ankylosaurus will be our example. Whispering sound. The Velociraptor snorted and did not refute it. Its body moved violently, leaving a string of black shadows among the houses, inspecting the surrounding movement. Although it was unhappy in its heart, the Allosaurus made sense. It could only suppress its grievances and obey the command of the Allosaurus. Weirdos will also cooperate in battle. King was surprised to listen to the speech of Velociraptor and Allosaurus. From their words, it can be seen that the actions of the 3-person team were commanded by Allosaurus, and the seismic dragon, as a meat shield, attracted the attention and attacks of the heroes. The dragon became a highly agile assassin with his outstanding speed, cruising around the hero looking for an opportunity to launch a fatal blow, while the Allosaurus was in charge of command and harassment. This weird group, it's kind of hanging. The king scratched his head. The 3 ghost-level dinosaurs have their own characteristics, and the division of labor is clear, and the complementarity is insufficient. From a certain perspective, the fighting method of this strange combination makes their combat effectiveness soaring several times. The average S-level hero faces they probably lose more and win less. However, they are now facing Saitama, a bald-level monster that is more terrifying than god-level. For this, he can't help but feel sad for the 3 dinosaurs. They are clearly matched and the team is super strong, but they have encountered a bug. The guy, everything became empty talk. Alas, they probably won't live for more than 5 minutes. Hey, there are 5 words floating in the sky. Someone is coming to die. Just as King was silent for 3 seconds for the destined sad ending of the 3 dinosaurs, the Velociraptor, who was the assassin and the scout, discovered the king floating in midair. It was discovered. King was startled and floated back quickly. Seeing this, the Velociraptor suddenly smiled abusively. Let me play with you. Its figure flickered, and in an instant it came to the wall of the tall building near the king, and the beast's eyes stared at the king. Boy, let's play the game of catching hideaway. If you can catch me, there will be surprises. Quote. King found that he didn't seem to be a strong man. People who knew him would be scared to death. People who didn't know him always looked down on him in all kinds of ways. Thinking about it carefully, his treatment was similar to that of Saitama. In awe, people who don't know Saitama's strength have been taunting Saitama. Not speaking is the default. The Velociraptor grinned, seemed to be laughing, shook his body suddenly, and disappeared before King's eyes. King's heart tightened and he scanned the surroundings quickly, and found that his naked eye could only catch a little shadow of the Velociraptor, and his eyes followed the Velociraptor. 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 50 seconds, 1 minute. With the passage of time, the Velociraptor in his eyes is no longer one, but countless. In the line of sight, there are Velociraptors everywhere, and even ghosts appear. It has long been foolish to distinguish which figure is the real Velociraptor. Well, he screamed badly, closed his eyes quickly, and expelled the dazzling scene from his mind. Big Saitama, are you playing snakes? It's been a long time since Earthquake Dragon and Allosaurus came to help. Stop paddling in the plot, come out and make soy sauce. Tisk, kid, did you give up? So, you lost this game. As punishment, you are sentenced. The Velociraptor running at the top of the building wall grinned, showing a cruel smile. Go to hell. Chi-Chi. King frowned slightly, and the sound of the raptor running closer and closer, but the fatal thing was that those voices came from all directions, meaning that the raptor did not come straight to him, but moved around him to avoid exposure. Body shape, one side gradually approached him. Ding, congratulations to host for gaining 13,520 experience points. Ding, comprehend the skill of the card character failed. Ding, congratulations to host, the character has been upgraded to level 12, and he has gained 10 attribute points and 2 skill points. Faced with this situation where he couldn't touch the opponent's figure, he decisively used the Ankylosaurus card that claimed to be invincible, and successfully upgraded to level 12. He did not have any delay, and added all the 10 attribute points he just obtained to the defense. If you can add a little defense, you will have more safety. Tisk tusk, humans, taste the fear of being dominated by speed. The Velociraptor's voice was very close, as if speaking in his ear. Playing cat and mouse tricks. He took a deep breath, and at the speed of the raptor, he had already hovered beside him, but he never made a move, perhaps just as it said to let him taste the fear of being dominated by speed. If you don't make a move, I'm not welcome. King's eyes were staring at the earthquake dragon in front of him, his attention was concentrated, and he was no longer affected by the raptor. After accumulating his energy for a while, his eyes narrowed and his long legs kicked backwards swiftly and blindly. The ultimate meaning of King Flo Qigong, a lucky kick. Boom! King's move contained the full strength of the Ankylosaurus, and the dragon wobbled its tail, strikingly in the abdomen of the raptor that showed its speed. Puff! The body of the Velociraptor was only more than 2 meters. Although his running speed was extremely fast, his physical strength was extremely general among the dinosaur family. The fierce kick of King directly kicked the Velociraptor to vomit blood. Puff! How, maybe. How could you find me? The Velociraptor's dinosaur body bowed into a lobster shape due to abdominal pain, and looked at King, who was still kicking his legs in disbelief. I don't believe it. It moved around and moved quickly around King again. Boom! The King slowly retracted his feet and looked at the stunned raptor, who was vomiting blood again. He was a little embarrassed, but he was blinded twice. He was too lucky. You can actually spot me, you. You are definitely not an ordinary person. Who are you? Oh, ask me. Oh, the people of the world give face, call me King. King. The Velociraptor stared at the dragon's eyes, and said in shock, you are the King who is known as the strongest man on the surface. It sucked in air conditioning frequently, and its feet could not help but recede. Suddenly, it thought of something, staring wide. Eyes. Wait a minute, Ankylosaurus. You killed the Ankylosaurus. Ankylosaurus. King tantans his hands. Oh, this matter is very complicated. I followed Saitama to pick up the leaks. However, Ankylosaurus provokes the two of us and was beaten to death by Saitama. In the end, the Heroes Association's people inexplicably think that I killed the Ankylosaurus and announced it in the form of a broadcast, so in fact, the Ankylosaurus. The Velociraptor's pupils shrank. Sure enough, you killed the Ankylosaurus. King stared blankly at the raptor with a believable face. Are you sure you understand what I'm saying? Could it be that you upgraded to a dinosaur and your language comprehension ability has deteriorated? I clearly explained that I did not kill the Ankylosaurus. Are you mentally retarded? HMPH can break the defense of Ankylosaurus. See through my speed shadows. King, the name of the strongest man on your surface is indeed well deserved, but... Velociraptor spit out a mouthful of blood, proudly said, I am Velociraptor, he is the fastest dinosaur in the world. Even if you are super strong, you can never catch me. You can't kill me, King, next time. He stared at the Black Line King, I will kill you today. Two-legged hatred. Its body shook abruptly and swept away in the direction of the earthquake dragon. However, it was clear that King's feet had suffered severe injuries just now, and his speed was significantly slower. It was actually able to catch its body with the naked eye. GG, even if my speed is twice as slow, you have nothing but hopelessness. The Velociraptor looked back at King, who seemed to have no reaction, and couldn't help but let out a weird laugh. However, his triumphant smile did not last for a few seconds. In front of it, a long shaking building did not pass by after all, and it collapsed with a bang. Like the high-rise building blocks falling down, the masonry flew, flooding an area in an instant. Ah! A scream like a slaughter of pigs came out under the pile of stones, and then disappeared quickly. The sound was short and stern, making people shudder. Ding! There are convertible monster cards nearby, please go to the host to convert. The system's cold, ruthless and mechanical prompt sounded faintly. The mansion completes a single kill, teach it to be a man, don't pretend to be forced. King stared blankly at the smoke-covered ruins, is this? I killed it. Oh, I really am a hero by luck. He laughed at himself, and then suddenly thought of a question. The velociraptor was buried under the ruins, how could he touch the velociraptor to collect cards? Find an excavator to push away those messy bricks. System, is there a solution? If you have any questions, ask the system decisively. However, the system ignored him. Obviously, this question is not within the scope of the system's answer. Hey, boy, have you ever seen a dinosaur man with 5 short stature? Just as King was distressed about how to touch the velociraptor's corpse, a cold word rang in his ears. He turned his body in doubt, and saw a, well, very ordinary dinosaur man standing in front of him. 89-meter high body shape is similar to other dinosaurs, with no obvious characteristics. Well, compared with Seismosaurus and Velociraptor, this is really an ordinary dinosaur. King was startled slightly, and asked, hey, the unit of your dinosaur's isekai. Oh, the gene has changed, and even the description unit has changed. We humans are units, and your dinosaurs are isekai. This knowledge is the key point, I remembered it. Having said that, he has already guessed who the dinosaur is in front of him, and it is estimated that it is the brain of the ghost-level dinosaur trio Allosaurus. Boy, are you pretending to be stupid? Allosaurus narrowed his eyes. I'll ask again, do you see a 5-short dinosaur? Are you talking about a velociraptor? King pointed to the ruins of the building just now, and said, I saw it was killed by the collapsed building. Well, it should be killed by the earthquake dragon, right? If it weren't for the earthquake dragon walking around, causing the earth to tremble, the building would not collapse, nor would the velociraptor be killed by bricks, so in the final analysis, the killer of the velociraptor was, the earthquake dragon. Kid, don't lie to me, how could the velociraptor die under the collapsed building? Allosaurus snorted coldly. It knew the speed of the velociraptor very well. At the speed of the velociraptor, even if a building collapsed, it could escape in a blink of an eye. How could it be killed by bricks? The kid in front of me must have lied to deal with me. You don't believe it? King moved his heart, his eyes rolled slightly, and he pointed at the ruins and said seriously, if you don't believe it, you can search for it yourself. The velociraptor really died under the ruins. Well, I hope it really goes searching and digging out the velociraptor's body so that I can draw the card. Yes, Allosaurus sneered. Now, I am not very interested in whether the velociraptor is under the ruins, I am more interested in. Who are you? King pointed to himself, slightly surprised. What kind of god unfolded, discussing the life and death of the velociraptor in the last second, and shifting the topic to me in the next second? Brother, your brain structure is different from ordinary people. Allosaurus stared at King. You are definitely not an ordinary person. Normal people are scared when they meet a weird person. How can you speak so fluently like you? So, who are you, exactly? Velociraptor, now what's the situation like? Is it dead? What? King took off his peaked cap and said, well, I'm actually a lucky hero king. King, the hero who killed the Ankylosaurus. Known as the strongest man on the surface. The Allosaurus's pupils shrank, and he stepped back subconsciously, and at the same time thought to understand some things. What velociraptor was killed by the collapsed building? It was clearly killed by you. As for why the velociraptor was buried under the building, this is very understandable. It is estimated that at the last moment of the velociraptor's life, he was violently thrown onto the building by the king, crashing the building, causing the velociraptor to be buried under the rubble, completely putting an end to its vitality. Obviously you killed the velociraptor. Why do you lie that the velociraptor was killed by a building brick? Is it to let me relax? Oh, you actually know how to use wisdom. It seems that you are not a rough man with well-developed limbs and simple mind. On the contrary, you are a clever man. It is terrible. You already have super strength, but you are not proud of your own strength. I always abide by the warrior principle that the lion fights the rabbit with all its strength. Hey, King, besides the doctor, you are the first man to make me admire. For a man worthy of admiration, I should naturally express my admiration to you with the most solemn etiquette. The Allosaurus was serious, staring at King. After a while, he fell on his knees with a sudden thump, holding his 2 small paws, and shouting, King, I surrender, I am willing to be a cow and a horse for you in this life. King looked at the actions of Allosaurus dumbfounded. What kind of god unfolded? A ghost-level weirdo raised his hand to me. Oh no, did he surrender with his claw? Why? He twitched at the corner of his mouth and asked the doubts in his heart. The surrender of Allosaurus made him feel headless and unreal. Shouldn't ghost-level monsters fight desperately? For the first time in so many years, he heard that a proud ghost-level weirdo would surrender. My strength is similar to that of Ankylosaurus and Velociraptor. Both of them died in your hands. If you look at you, I killed them in a day without a trace of fatigue, even clothes. There is no wrinkle, let alone injuries. All the details tell me that your strength is far beyond ours. I can say with certainty that you kill us without any effort. Alien Dragon analyzed a lot of details, and finally came to a conclusion that King's strength is super terrifying, and the title of the strongest man on the surface is not a false slogan. Quote. King blinked his eyes. Alas, he is a smart guy. The ancients often said that those who surrender are smart people. I honestly don't deceive me. I'm really not as strong as you think. The reason why I'm considered the strongest man, it's because he robbed Saitama. Oh, yes, Saitama's bald head. I followed him to pick up the leaks, but 10 minutes later, I cleaned up the two ghost-level weirdos. What's wrong with him? Nothing happened. He looked up at the earthquake dragon and found that the earthquake dragon was still alive and alive. The more than 10-meter-long tail swept around, and the surrounding area was completely ruined within a dozen meters. From the sky, it seemed to be drawn as a circle with the earthquake dragon as a dot shape. Saitama guy. Won't make a halfway turn to the supermarket to grab special offers, right? King frowned and was very depressed. Saitama used to kill monsters very efficiently. He basically punched one at a time. Now how long has passed, the earthquake dragon is still alive, and something must have happened in it. Hey, Allosaurus, you go to the ruins and pick up the Velociraptor's body. I will go to the earthquake dragon to take a look at the situation, and I'll be back soon. King casually ordered the Allosaurus to surrender, and immediately floated in the direction of the earthquake dragon. As for the question of whether Allosaurus would escape, he bet it would not dare to escape. Smart people like Allosaurus are generally suspicious. King lets it act alone so easily. Suspicious, it will mistakenly believe that King is testing it, and will not dare to escape easily. Sure enough, Allosaurus saw King flying to the earthquake dragon unsuspectingly, and all kinds of thoughts suddenly appeared in his heart. How can King be so slack in guarding me? He really believes that I surrendered sincerely. No, from just now. From the performance point of view, King is a smart person. How could a smart person make such a serious mistake? He must be testing me. Don't look at him as if he left, but from the analysis of his ability to fly, it can be concluded that King is super. The conclusion of the capable person is that a powerful super capable person can kill people thousands of miles away. If I dare to escape, King will absolutely erase me from the world without hesitation. Calm down, I must calm down. As a smart person, in the face of this temptation, which is full of loopholes, I must not be fooled, and I must not take my life to gamble on the hope of escape. It made a fierce analysis, but didn't know that it became a fool. King blatantly flew towards the earthquake dragon, possessed by an ankylosaurus. His defense was not afraid of the earthquake dragon's attack. Rumble. When he approached the earthquake dragon, he found that the earthquake dragon seemed to be in a state of anger and frenzy, with its long tail flicking wildly, destroying all the buildings on the flat ground. The earthquake dragon roared again and again. Horo. Human, let go of you, Master Earthquake. What happened? In order to avoid being swept by the tail of the earthquake dragon, King didn't get too close. He hung in the air, staring at the crazy earthquake dragon. After a long time, he was surprised to find that the earthquake dragon was undulating up and down with a slight amplitude. What the hell is it? He was greatly surprised. He circled the earthquake dragon in midair and found a place with a wide field of vision. After a closer look, the huge body of the earthquake dragon was actually suspended, and there was a person standing under its toes. In the quiet Saitama, I saw Saitama grab the toes of the earthquake dragon, forcibly lift the earthquake dragon, and even squat with the earthquake dragon there. King approached Saitama cautiously, listening carefully. 13,725. 13,726. 13,727. Quote. King was stunned at Saitama, who was always happy. This bald head used the earthquake dragon as a weightlifting equipment. He used the earthquake dragon to lift weights. In just 10 minutes, Saitama had already done more than 10,000 squats with the earthquake dragon. My goodness, it's too special to pervert. 13,728. 13,729. Saitama raised his teeth and danced claws on his own, but reluctantly trained by the earthquake dragon, muttering to himself count the number of weightlifting. King saw Saitama unconsciously, and suddenly shouted, "Bald, stop making trouble, we have other weirdos to clean up, quickly solve the battle and transfer to the battlefield, there is a ghost-level weird waiting for me in L City." Picking up the leak. Brother, don't delay time. If you want to exercise, go home and do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 10 kilometers long run, don't block the road on the street. Hey, yes, there are ghost-level weirdos in L City that haven't been cleaned up. Saitama threw the earthquake dragon casually, and there was a rumbling sound, the earth shook, and the earthquake dragon he threw out directly collided with a block of buildings. King looked at the block that destroyed the block in an instant, his face was speechless. Saitama, this guy, is really a hero dictated by interest. To be a hero is really based on interest. It is not a high-level reason to protect the lives of citizens and the safety of property, so there is almost no scruples in the shot, just do whatever you want. Saitama looked at King, scratched his face, and asked, "Hey, in which direction is City L?" King pointed to the direction of City L and said, "Don't call me hello, next time. I have a name. My name is, A. What about people?" He just wanted to introduce himself formally, but suddenly realized that Saitama had already rushed to L City and disappeared before his eyes. Saitama, you're dead and bald, rushing to reincarnate, oh, it seems to be rushing to send someone else to reincarnation. Roar. Just when King was angry with Saitama, a thunderous roar suddenly sounded. Rumble. The earth shook violently. Earthquake dragon. King was surprised to see the earthquake dragon standing up again. It turns out that Saitama didn't kill the earthquake dragon just now. Cheating. Roar. The seismic dragon was played by Saitama for so long, and it had already filled its chest with anger. After regaining freedom, it quickly stood up, swept its slender tail indiscriminately, and a rumbling house collapsed one after another. It roared angrily, "Human beings, accept the anger of Master Earthquake Dragon." Boom. The slender neck of the earthquake dragon snapped, and the roar stopped abruptly. His huge body swayed from side to side a few times before falling to the side feebly, and smashed a building again. "I almost forgot about you guy." Saitama shook his slimy gloves and waved to the dumbfounded King, "Hey, underwear, I'm going one step first." As soon as his voice fell, he was on the street, blinked again, and disappeared in a flash. "Hey, wait a minute, the braised egg is bald, who are you calling for underwear? Do you want to fight? If you have the ability, don't run, this time you run fast and didn't hold you. Next time, don't let me meet you again, otherwise teach you how to be a man in minutes." King reacted and roared in the direction where Saitama disappeared. King, killed the earthquake dragon. Fear from Allosaurus. King, killed the earthquake dragon. The Allosaurus, who was slowly digging the velociraptor corpse in the ruins of the building, heard the sound of fighting in the direction of the earthquake dragon, looked up, and witnessed the death of the earthquake dragon with his own eyes. However, due to the long distance, it was not careful, it only vaguely saw the earthquake dragon seemed to be broken by a reflective oval pebbles the size of a basketball. Is this the strength of a superpower? How can I kill the seismic dragon by manipulating a small pebble? Allosaurus swallowed a spit. King, it's terrible, my previous analysis sure enough, King has a strength far beyond what I have waited for. Fortunately, I chose to surrender wisely. Otherwise, I'm afraid I would have died long ago. Fortunately in its heart, it seems that whether it is a person or a weirdo, the mind is very important. Oh, no, King just told me to dig out the velociraptor's body, but He just touched the ruins perfunctorily just a few moments in order to cope with the problem. You must speed up, otherwise if King comes back and sees me passive and sabotaged and killed me as soon as I got angry, wouldn't I be wronged? The speed of its subordinates suddenly increased, bang bang. The rocks and sand flew up, and under the eyes of the extraordinary dragon, it quickly peeled away the sand and rocks like a gopher, looking for the velociraptor's corpse. Ding! Congratulations to host for acquiring a 3-star monster card Earthquake Dragon. After watching Saitama leave, King touched the Earthquake Dragon corpse and successfully drew out a 3-star monster card. Recently, I have gained a lot. He flew to the Allosaurus position, and he couldn't help but remember that the recent period of time seemed to be very smooth. Before the Weirdman prison riot, he harvested more than a dozen Tiger Wolf level weird cards. Now the Dinosaur Man riots, he has harvested more than 20 Tiger Wolves. Grade level weird card, and there are several Ghost level weird cards. A careful calculation, if he runs out of all the cards, he can properly rise to more than 20 ranks, which is a little exciting to think about. Master King, I have dug up the Velociraptor's body. Please check and accept the results of my work. When King returned to the side of Allosaurus, Allosaurus respectfully reported the results of his excavation, and the 2-meter corpse of the Velociraptor was neatly placed in front of King. Yes, not bad. King was overjoyed, and quickly reached out and touched the ragged corpse of the Velociraptor. Ding! Congratulations to the host for getting a 3-star freak card Velociraptor. He nodded in satisfaction, and started with another Ghost-level freak card. King seemed to be in a good mood with the eyes of Allosaurus, and he respectfully asked, Master King, what else can I do for you? Please don't hesitate to tell me, and I will do my best to help you finish it. King stared blankly at a slave like Allosaurus. He couldn't help being funny. The dignified Ghost-level weirdo was so humbly and knee-deep. It was really a horrible thing in the world, and it was an unheard of rare thing. Black sperm, are you afraid that you have never seen a dragon-level weird who flatters to humans? However, funny is funny, surprise is surprised, but how to solve the problem of Allosaurus? His brows are slightly furrowed, and it is impossible to collect as a pet. The system has clearly stated that unless he hatches a weird person, he cannot become a bound pet. If an Allosaurus cannot be bound to become a pet, he is afraid of Allosaurus. The guy with the brain rebels doesn't know when he will bite him back, so Allosaurus must not stay by his side. Kill. Stop making trouble. To kill Allosaurus, it is estimated that it will take a few Ghost-level cards to succeed, and it will even take a Dragon-level monster card to win. Leave it to the Heroes Association. After repeated consideration, he decided to hand the Allosaurus to the Heroes Association and imprisoned it in the weird prison at the headquarters of the association. The headquarters of the Heroes Guild, the weird prison was built by the Metal Knights. It is very sturdy and has a well-developed defense system that can hold Ghost-level and lower-level strangers. Master King, do you need a thug? Although my strength is not as good as a finger of yours, I can be your dog's leg. You see who is not pleasing to your eyes. I don't need you to do it. I will help you handle it. Master King, do you need a mount? I can make a cow and a horse for you. The camel, you see thousands of waters and mountains, parades all over the world, and I walk very steadily, you will never feel a bump on my back, and my back is very wide, comfortable and soft. You must be very comfortable to sit on it. By any means, you can sit on my back. Long Jen. The Allosaurus babbled desperately to sell himself, for fear that he would be killed by the king because of his worthless use. Ding! The system has detected that a weird person is sincerely convinced by host, and he is willing to become host's mount. Ding! The system mount board is open. Ding! The system mount module is successfully opened. Does the host bind the mount to become your exclusive mount? The system suddenly jumped out a series of prompts. After King heard it, the corners of his mouth twitched, and he thought of the painful vaccine man. His original intention was to bring a Ghost-level stranger by his side as a bodyguard. He never expected that he would be majestic after passing through the hands of the system. The vaccine man became a weak force that even he could not win. Not only did he fail to achieve his goal, but he had to work hard to upgrade the vaccine man. Now the system wants to give him a mount. He decided not to do it. He was tired of bringing a baby pet to upgrade, and he had to get angry with another baby on a mount. Besides, he can fly now. Do I need a mount to drive? Although his current flying speed is not very fast, he can improve as he upgrades, and one day he can reach or even surpass the tornado flying speed. What's the use of the mount at that time? Moreover, the Allosaurus is so big that if you ride on the street, you may step on the street, cause traffic jams, and annoy the people. What's more, his home is not a grassland forest. Where can there be a place to raise Allosaurus? More importantly, to raise a carnivorous creature weighing several tons, he needs to spend a lot of money to buy fresh meat every day. He said that he is not a local tyrant and has no money left to support it. If it's a velociraptor, you can consider it. After all, the velociraptor is small and fast, making it an excellent mount. Unfortunately, the velociraptor has already killed himself. It makes him a little regretful, and I don't know if there are other runners. The fast dinosaurs survive, maybe you can look for them. If you find other agile dinosaurs, you can try to tame them into mounts. He thought about it. After all, he thought that there was no value in using Allosaurus as a mount. Therefore, he ignored the gracious Allosaurus, nor did he instigate him to accept the mount-bound system, and directly took out his mobile phone to call the Heroes Association headquarters. Prepare to notify the Heroes Association to collect the corpse and pull away the babbling Allosaurus. The junction of J City and M City. Rumble. There were loud noises of footsteps among the mountains. After a while, on a mountain peak, Hammond stood proudly on the top of the peak, looking down at the tiny world. King, where should I find you? It stared at the looming high-rise buildings in M City in the distance. After thinking for a moment, its eyes narrowed slightly. Maybe it can be targeted at his heroic identity. It smiled faintly, and jumped down from the mountain a few hundred meters high, whirring. A gust of wind blew, it crashed to the ground and stepped on the mountain bag under the peak. Boom! After a blasting sound, smoke and dust flew up, the rocks smashed into the air, the birds and beasts scattered in panic, and the mountains were in chaos. After a while, the smoke and dust dissipated. Huo Ran disappeared from the 10-meter-high mountain bag. 2 large pits appeared in the place where the mountain bag originally stood, and 2 buses can be buried by visual inspection. If you look down from a high altitude, you can clearly see the so-called 2 deep pits, which are actually 2 footprints of Tyrannosaurus rex. Hammond ignored the situation of the mountain packs and drove quickly towards the refuge in M City. He has lived in M City for many years and knows all about the iconic buildings in M City. What's more, the refuge has frequently appeared in the news in recent years. Already familiar with the location of the refuge, the dinosaurs rioted. According to the situation of weird invasions in the past, most residents of M City should have escaped into the refuge specially built by the Heroes Association. Oh, King, as a hero, if the citizens of the refuge are attacked, will you come here? Hee, my old man is waiting in the refuge, to take your life. ... Angel sprint, angel sprint, angel sprint. At the junction of J City and M City, the prisoner rushed forward in an athlete's running posture. The running under his feet stirred up dust on the ground, causing a long smoke screen to float on the ground, like a plane passing through the clouds. Mark of, hey, we're in M City. After running for half an hour, he saw that the signs on the street were all written in City M, and he immediately understood that he had arrived in City M. The streets had already been empty, cars were staggered, houses were cluttered, and the ground was full of paper, crumbs, parcels and other items. Where is that ghost-level weirdo? It should still be dangling in L City. After all, how can its speed be compared to me who is chasing beautiful men? He breathed a sigh of relief, took out the phone and prepared to find the latest trace information of the ghost-level monsters that appeared in L City. Roar. At this moment, a low beast roar suddenly came out not far from the street. Boom, boom. Some scattered crashes and collapses sounded one after another. The first squad attracts the hatred and attention of the weirdos, the second squad fires the eccentrics, and the third squad serves as a backup force, ready to take over the wounded members of the first and second squad to kill the eccentrics at any time. The first team understands. The second team received. The third team understands. On the other side of the street, more than 30 loud voices answered all together, with an aura and sadness that looked like death at home. Brothers, we are poor people. Our closest relatives died tragically at the hands of weirdos. We are also abandoned people. We are left behind by our relatives and friends, living alone in the world, suffering the tragedies of the past alone. Weirdos have destroyed our homes, let our wives disperse, and our families are destroyed. These pains are deeply carved into our bones, making us pain all night, unforgettable forever. When the weird came, we also dreamed that the heroes would fall from the sky to save us. However, the heroes we worshipped and admired did not come. We watched our loved ones die in the hands of the weird, except for hoarse shouts and grief. We are so incompetent and weak. Heroes are no longer a force that we can rely on and trust. From today on, we must fight for ourselves. With our own strength, we will eliminate the vicious weird people and bring peace to the world. Kill the weirdo. We are our own heroes. The sadness in our hearts is our most powerful force. Without the association of heroes, we can kill monsters ourselves. Captain Axel, we listen to you, we have to fight for ourselves. In front of the weird, there stood a group of men in black and white combat uniforms. They had grim expressions and waved and shouted fiercely, as if they were about to sweep away the depression in their hearts. Remember our team name Hunter Self-Defense Force, we are, the Hunters of Monsters. In front of the men, standing a heroic man wearing a black long-sleeved t-shirt, a coat and a white vest, white gloves, and white knee pads combat pants. He is the founder and captain of the Self-Defense Force Axel. Axel's face was heavy, and he used passionate speeches to arouse everyone's hatred of weird people and the courage to face weird people. Hunter, Hunter, Hunter. The men uttered huge roars, as if focusing their energy on the soundtrack, and their voices were loud and thunderous. Roar. The roar of the members of the Hunter Self-Defense Force caught the attention of the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs crashed and destroyed the obstacles that blocked the road. The members of the Hunter Self-Defense Forces were immediately exposed to the sight of the dinosaurs. Hunters, hunting time is up. Axel, the captain of the Self-Defense Forces, stared at the strange man, raised his right hand, paused for a few seconds, and waved it down. Action. Kill. The hunters of the Self-Defense Force held their weapons to culminate at the dinosaurs. The hunters of the first squad held steel balls and chains of various lengths, which were 10 meters long, 20 meters long, and 40 to 50 meters long. Depends on individual strength and group tactics. They constantly waved the iron chain with the ball, and threw it towards the neck, calf, forelimb and tail of the dinosaur according to Axel's command. The strips around it turned a few times, tightly tied. Kill. After the hunters saw the iron chain tied to the target part of the dinosaur, they each pulled the iron chain. Even if the dinosaur was as strong as a tiger-level weirdo, he was caught off guard and was dragged by the hunters. The dispersed second squad had already launched a fire attack. The submachine guns, sniper rifles and other firepower weapons in the hands of the hunters all shot at the weak spots of the dinosaurs, such as the eyes and abdomen. Roar. What? The roars of the dinosaurs and the screams of the hunters were quickly intertwined, reverberating continuously in the empty streets, playing into a poignant heroic movement. Roar, roar, roar. After the dinosaurs suffered pain, they roared, their tails swung, their necks twisted, their calves kicked and kicked, trying to get rid of those annoying iron chains, but the hunters clenched the iron chains tightly to prevent the dinosaurs from escaping. Roar. After going back and forth, the dinosaur man suddenly fell into a frenzy. No matter the chains, his head lowered and slammed into the hunter's concentration. Two sharp horns smashed the building behind the hunter unstoppably. Shung Shung overturned the building. What? After the house collapsed, several hunters who didn't avoid it in time were suppressed. Boom. The battle continues. Add 3 people to the first team and attack the target, the neck of the dinosaur. The first team spread out according to the drill positions to reduce casualties. The second team increased firepower to attack the injured location of the dinosaur, and strive to shoot the dinosaur in the fastest time. Axel was in command, calmly targeting the weaknesses of the dinosaurs, expanding the dinosaurs' injuries little by little, and striving for an early victory. Reptile, you actually bear the heart to hurt the young and strong boys. Unforgivable, you go to death. Boom. Just as the self-defense forces were fighting with the dinosaurs, a loud anger exploded like a muffled thunder, and immediately a sturdy figure fell from the sky and punched the head of the dinosaur who was struggling to get out of the trap. Boom. Roar. A muffled noise and a horrible howl sounded one after another. The dinosaur man's head was forcibly concave into a bowl shape, the skull shattered, and one eyeball the size of a ping-pong ball fell out. The entire face of the dinosaur was unrecognizable and terrible. After the dinosaur man screamed, his huge body shook a few times, and then fell down with a bang. The iron chain on his body clanked and banged, it hummed and screamed, and its body twitched from time to time. After half a minute, the dinosaur man finally fell silent, which meant that it was completely dead. Young boys, make an appointment. After the prisoner punched the dinosaur to death, he stood facing Axel and others sideways, turned his head in the direction of Axel and others, smiled, bent his right leg, raised his heel, bent his right arm to make a fist, and fist. With your heart facing upwards, hold your right wrist with your left hand, and forcefully contract your chest, deltoid, biceps and forearm muscles to make a standard side-spanning chest and bodybuilding muscle display movement, showing his strong and large biceps. Incisively and vividly. Quote. Axel and the others stared at the dinosaur man who fell to the ground in a daze, and then looked at the prisoners who were, glaring, at them strangely. They were all silent, and the chains in the hands of the first team clanged and dropped. On the ground, a strong sense of frustration flooded their hearts and drowned their minds. This was a frustrating result. They worked so hard for a long time, and the dinosaurs were still alive and well. However, the dinosaurs who were so powerful for them were easily solved with a punch by the prisoners, and the strength gap was deeply pierced. It hurt their hearts. Hey, did you agree to my date invitation by default? The prisoner changed his triceps lateral extension, straightened his right arm, clasped his right and left hands behind his body, and contracted his right triceps and right shoulder deltoid muscles to show his most masculine side. Come out. Prisoner. Axel stared at the prisoner who frequently showed muscles and chuckled softly. You deserve to be an S-rank hero, and a dignified monster is no match for your punch. This is the result of working hard to build muscle, and it is also the strength that a masculine hero should have. The prisoner saw Axel take the initiative to talk to him. His face was happy, and he changed his arms from both sides of the body to bend the elbows and forcefully stretch the double biceps movement, trying to make himself look full masculine charm. Hero. Ha! Axel laughed mockingly. It is rumored that every time you execute justice, you always escape from prison, smashing a big hole in the prison wall almost every time. After you return, the government always has to allocate funds. Repair the damaged location of the prison. I heard that in 2 years, the government has allocated 300 million yuan to repair the hole in the wall that you smashed into. Oh, your appearance fee, as a hero is really high. Hunters, go away. After he finished speaking, he didn't look at the confused prisoner again, and left with the hunter self-defense force. Ding ding. The hunters weakly dragged the chains behind Axel, dragging their bodies slowly and forcefully like walking dead. 5 minutes later, Axel stopped, glanced at the frustrated hunter member, with an angry face, and shouted, "What are you doing with your head down?" Frustrated. Frustrated. Ha, ridiculous, what right do we have to be frustrated? What is it? Qualifications frustrated. Why are we standing here? It is precisely because of our incompetence and weakness that we watched our loved ones die in the hands of weirdos, but we were powerless. We are a group of losers. The death of relatives and friends is because we are weak. So we got together, gathered everyone's strength, and worked together to deal with weird people. Captain, even if we gather the power of so many people, it still can't compare to the punch of a hero. We are too incompetent. Obviously I work hard and want to kill weird people, but why am I so weak? Why? Woo. We are just a bunch of ants, no matter how much we gather, what's the use? The hunter members of the self-defense force were downcast, most of them seemed to have lost their souls, standing in despair on the street, rickety, listless, and dejected. This is the reason for your frustration. A ridiculous excuse. Axel yelled angrily. Yes, we are weak, and even if we are separated, no member may be as powerful as a C-rank hero, but ants can bite more. Death Elephant, I believe that as long as we cooperate sincerely and work together, no matter how weak we are, we can kill powerful weirdos, for our loved ones who died, for our lost happiness, and for us never to return. Anning's revenge. We want to avenge the weirdo. Revenge. As Axel yelled hysterically, the hunter's godless eyes regained their brilliance. Their fists were clenched, and the scene of the weirdo killing their loved ones continued to reverberate in their minds. Yes, we can't just admit defeat. We are not dead yet, we must continue to fight and kill all the weirdos. We want revenge, we want to blame people for going to hell to confess to our loved ones. I want to personally send those ugly guys to Wonquan to be a cow and a horse for my daughter. The hunters roared, their fighting spirit returned to them again, even stronger than before. Their eyes seemed to burst into sparks, and their chests seemed to hide a volcano, which might erupt at any time. Hunters, the battle is not over yet. No, it should be said that our battle has just begun. Axel looked at the high-spirited hunter members. He smiled and said loudly, "The dinosaur people still have remnants. Hunters, the hunting time is not over, we, go." Roar. The hunter members roared and shouted in unison, "Go. Kill, kill, kill." Axel nodded with satisfaction. This is the self-defense force he really wants to see. It is high-spirited and not afraid of death. However, even if the members of the self-defense force are aggressive, they still cannot avoid one of the biggest problems: strength. They are originally the stronger ordinary people, because their family members died at the hands of the weird, gathered together in grief and indignation to form a self-defense force that avenged the weird. Therefore, their individual strength is too weak after all. If we can improve everyone's strength, we can definitely hunt monsters with higher disaster levels. Well, how can we improve everyone's strength? Axel was in deep thought. Maybe he should talk to Mr. King. After all, he is the strongest man on the surface, and he must have a way to make everyone stronger quickly. Well, it was so decided. "Mr. King, it's been a long time. Do you remember the thugs who kidnapped the teachers and students in the kindergarten more than a month ago? I said, we will meet again soon. I will visit you soon. ... Hey, gone. Hey, did you agree to my date invitation?" Seeing that no one responded to his words, the prisoners bowed their heads and left. He suddenly shouted anxiously, but unfortunately, the hunters' minds had already drifted elsewhere, and no one paid him any attention. The date failed. His upright body suddenly became short, and his whole person instantly became decadent. My date invitation to the boys, it failed again. Attention residents of City M, and residents of City M. The ghost-level monsters in City L have officially invaded City M. Please go to the major refuges in City M to avoid the monsters. Our association will strive to eliminate the monsters in the shortest possible time. Everyone is patiently waiting for our news. Oops, meeting the boy I like made me abandon everything else, completely forgetting that the purpose of my escape is to eliminate ghost-level weirdos. It's terrible. The prisoner hurriedly ran up again, charging towards the ghost-level weird position given by the association. Who, Angel Dash, who, Angel Dash. Hammond stepped into M City and stared at his hometown. No, his hometown was in the Jurassic period. The buildings in front of him were nothing more than obscure rubbish that encroached on his hometown's land. All these rubbish should be destroyed and wiped out. Roar, he roared, his powerful body rammed into the ground of M City without hesitation, knocked over countless high-rise buildings, flattened many houses, and destroyed dozens of streets. Rumble. Everything he passed through was turned into a ruin, and the bustling streets of the past were withered at this moment, becoming riddled with blemishes. The nearest refuge should be the third refuge in M City. Hee, respectable Mr. King, I made such a big noise, have you noticed me? M City is your hometown, you should care about it. After knowing my behavior, you should hate me deeply. You should come to chase me. Well, my old man. Waiting for you in the third refuge of M City. You, don't let me. The elderly are disappointed, otherwise, the lives of the tens of thousands of humans in the refuge will be lost. He smiled slightly, and his huge body turned to the direction of the third refuge of M City, and savagely rushed past, and any buildings blocking him in front of him became wreckage. His running speed is not fast or slow. Compared to the short distance of the third refuge, his speed is obviously extremely fast. In just 10 minutes, he has come to the vicinity of the refuge. That semicircular building should be a refuge, right? Hammond stared at the semicircular building tens of meters away, which was the third refuge in M City. The refuge is 30 meters high and looks like an inverted bowl. The semicircular steel ceiling on the 10-meter-high wall has dense small circles, which are the vents of the refuge. It seems that the Heroes Association has spent a lot of money to build a refuge. Tisk, the defensive structure outside is probably a lot of money, let alone other high-tech system installations. It's a lavish building. It's a pity. It's almost in ruins. He commented on the refuge for 1 or 2 sentences, and then hurriedly approached. Such a big refuge, there should be tens of thousands of humans in it. Hey, these humans are going to be my captives and bait. King, will your big fish take the bait? Well, King, hurry up and bite the bait. I can't wait to kill you. Listen to the weird guy in front. I am the 13th B-level hero super police Autobot, and a righteous people's policeman. Please stop the riot immediately. give up resistance, surrender immediately, and strive for leniency. In front of Hammond's land, there is a robot standing with a silver metallic luster. His wrists and ankles are made up of 2 wheels. There are 2 machine guns on the wheels. The palms extending from the wheels are holding a steel baton. The head is the head of a car, the lights are the eyes, the forehead is inlaid with the unique police emblem of the World Police, the red and blue police lights are on both sides of the chest, and a license plate Police M110 is hung on the crotch. His face was serious, a truncheon more than 1 meter long pointed at Hammond, who was approaching, and issued a loud warning. Click. Hammond leapt across the inner city river. His sturdy feet happened to step on the Super Police Autobot, a small broken sound was made, and the standing Super Police Autobot suddenly fell apart and fell to the ground. Hey, it seems to be stepping on something incredible. Hammond raised his foot questioningly and looked at the ground, and found a pile of broken parts, including car heads, license plates, wheels, etc. Well, it's a car. Listen to the weird guy in front. I am the 13th B-level hero Super Police Autobot, and a righteous people's policeman. Please stop the riot immediately, give up resistance, surrender immediately, and strive for leniency. The broken head of the car still kept ringing the programmed police lines. Oh, it's a robot. I'm really sorry. My old man is getting older and has a lot of old problems, such as heart disease, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, etc. Of course, it also includes dim eyes and back of ears. I didn't hear you just now. I accidentally stepped on you. Sorry, my old man has something to do, so I can't send you to the repair shop. You can wait for death by yourself, goodbye. Hammond glanced at the wreckage of the Super Police Autobot in surprise, teased, and continued to rush towards the shelter. You weak humans, obediently become my bait. City A. Heroes Association Headquarters. The Minister of Report. According to the latest information, Hammond is moving in the direction of the 3rd refuge, and his target may be the citizens in the refuge. Maria reported to CIC with a pretty face. What? Sichi shook his whole body. Does Hammond want to kill humans? No, if he wants to slaughter humans, he has already committed a mass murder in L City, so why run all the way to M City? There must be other purposes. Investigate clearly as soon as possible. Yes. Maria retired with orders. Collison, check the location of the prisoner, how far it is from Hammond, and contact him by the way, asking him to speed up and kill Hammond before the 3rd refuge is destroyed. Now it is too late to evacuate the citizens of the refuge, and can only hope that the prisoner will be faster and reach the 3rd refuge before Hammond. Clear. Collison pushed his glasses and nodded solemnly. Jingle bell. Just as the atmosphere in the war room was serious because Hammond was about to attack the citizens of the refuge, the silence was broken by the ringing of the telephone. King. Sichi stared at the phone number marked, King, on the big screen. He smiled and hurriedly answered, Mr. King, your call came too timely. Don't gossip, there is a ghost-level monster Tyrannosaurus dinosaur. We are quickly approaching the 3rd refuge in M City, and the lives of tens of thousands of people hiding in it are threatened. Mr. King, can you rush to the refuge and sniper the Tyrannosaurus Rex to protect the safety of the citizens? Let me snipe the Tyrannosaurus monster who invaded M City. As far away as King in the city of M just dialed the phone number of the association, he has not yet made a request for the imprisonment of Allosaurus. Who knows that Ziki directly gave him the task of sniping the weirdo? He suddenly looked dazed, and subconsciously refused. Don't go. No time, I am destroying the ghost-level weird trio, and you come and go with the Allosaurus in it, and the battle is vigorous and there is no way to deal with other ghost-level weirdos. Allosaurus with a pleasing expression. What a battle of, you come and I die. Sichi frowned as he listened to King's words on the phone. Well, King, your side seems to be very quiet, it's not like you are in a fierce battle. That. King's mouth twitched, his face full of embarrassment. Rumble. At this moment, the sound of houses collapsing sounded one after another, resounding like thunder. Roar. King, how dare you kill my brothers Earthquake Dragon and Velociraptor, I'm fighting with you. Allosaurus had been listening to King's phone, vaguely hearing 6 words, clever. He immediately smashed the house next to him with a paw, and at the same time pretended to roar, creating the illusion of a battle. What, King, you have killed the 2 ghost-level monsters, Earthquake Dragon and Velociraptor. Ziki took a breath of air conditioning. It was only a long time before King had already cleaned up 2 ghost-level dinosaurs, plus the Ankylosaurus ghost-level weirdo not long ago. King killed him in just a few hours. With 3 ghost-level weirdos, he is really a powerful man. Wow, Mr. King killed 2 ghost-level weirdos again, too powerful. There is Mr. King in M City, no weird person can't make waves. Ghost-level weirdos are just stronger ants for King, right? The strongest man on the surface, terrifying. King's call was answered in public. Therefore, all the staff in the war room heard the conversation between Sichi and King. They stared in shock at King's record of killing 3 ghost-level weirdos. His face was full of surprise. King silently glanced at the Allosaurus with a flattering expression. What a nonsense. The movement made by Allosaurus to please King caused the war room to instantly quiet down. Everyone's eyes widened, and their faces were full of wonder, admiration, and awe. Zeke took a deep breath to calm his excitement. However, after he calmed down, he suddenly thought of a question. King was fighting with Allosaurus. How could he call us at any time? Furthermore, how did King answer the phone with the phone in his hand, and how did he fight the Allosaurus? He was shocked, thinking of a possibility, and exclaimed, "King, how did you make a free call? Did you call us while fighting the weird man with one hand?" If this is the case, then King is really terrible. He only uses one hand to deal with dignified ghost-level weirdos. Just think about this scenario. His scalp is numb. King's strength is so terrible that he regards ghost-level weirds as ants. To the point. Although the previous record makes people guess that King killed all weirdos with one punch, it is a ghost-level weirdo. In the case where god-level weirds have never appeared, and dragon-level weirds are rare, ghost-level weirds are almost the peak of the weird group, but it is a ghost-level monster who is so powerful that it scares humans. In front of the King, he is as weak as an ant, and the strength of the King is really frightening. The attention of the staff was attracted by Siki's screams. They were shocked, their faces were shocked, and their ears were quickly erected to listen to King's answer intently. King scratched his head in embarrassment. How can he get rid of this panic? As soon as Allosaurus saw that he had another opportunity to make a contribution, he immediately took the initiative to solve King's problems, hissing loudly, "King, you one punch killed my earthquake dragon brother, another punch killed my velociraptor brother, now again fighting with me with one hand, you are insulting me, you are clearly 100 times stronger than me, why do you want to play with me? How about your strong temperament? If it's a man, it's like killing me. 2 brothers punched me to death. What, do you want to subdue me? Haha, although the strength of my Allosaurus is not as good as your hair, I think I am also a strong one, and I cannot give in. To you, King, kill me. At least let me retain a trace of dignity." King held his mobile phone and watched the Allosaurus performance. These years, even the dinosaurs are acting. Hiss. There was a squeaking sound of air conditioning in the battle room, and everyone was shocked. The strength of the King made the ghost-level weirds desperate to the point of voluntarily giving up resistance and life. This kind of scene is too exciting for people's minds. Although there are several S-rank heroes who can kill the ghost level in seconds, but the only one who can make the ghost level weird despair by virtue of strength and momentum is King, and this one. The strongest man on the surface, King. Worthy of the name. Sichi took a deep breath and forced down those complex emotions such as shock and awe. He calmly said, "King, please quickly solve Allosaurus and go to the 3rd refuge in M City, although the prisoners have already arrived at the refuge. But, I'm afraid that prisoners will not be able to stop the Tyrannosaurus dinosaur's footsteps. Therefore, on behalf of the citizens of the 3rd refuge, I beg you to go to the refuge to stop the weirdos and save their innocent lives." "Well, you said that the prisoner has arrived in City M and is sniping the Tyrannosaurus dinosaur man." King's eyes lit up. "Well, I know, once the battle on my side is over, I will rush away. If there is security, he doesn't mind taking a trip to volley the weirdo and cheer on the prisoners on the sidelines." Allosaurus, lie down. He figured it out in a while. There are prisoners, plus his ghost-level freak cards, enough to clean up a ghost-level freak. Roar, obey orders. Allosaurus hurriedly fell down 7 or 8 meters high, and breathed a sigh of relief. "As long as it is valuable to King, my life should be Wu Yu." King touched the back of the Allosaurus. It was a bit cold. He pushed his palm against the back of the Allosaurus and slammed over and sat directly on the back of the Allosaurus. Go to the third refuge. Yes, Allosaurus replied in a low voice, narrowing his billiard-sized eyes. Is it a Tyrannosaurus dinosaur? That should be the doctor, maybe. I don't need to be humiliating and flattering king. Boom. With strange thoughts in its mind, its heart suddenly became hot, and its feet moved sharply, using 12 cents of strength to drive towards the third refuge in M City. Enchanting freedom, here I am. ... Rumble. The sound of Hammond running was as loud as thunder, echoing through the streets. The Association of Heroes hasn't even announced that I will attack the third refuge. Hey, it seems that I need my old man to trample on the refuge and kill tens of thousands of people before the association will pay attention to me. Well, I hope the association will be here. When the hero is dispatched, the king who is guarding the city of M can be transferred to kill me. That would be perfect. Of course, if the king does not come, then I will continue to destroy until the king comes. He grinned and pulled out a grinning grin. Angel sprint, hurry up, the boys are not hurt, it's great. Just as Hammond was about to attack the refuge, a strong figure sprang out in front of him and stopped between him and the refuge. Hey, ugly, don't want to destroy the refuge and hurt the boys inside. I never allow it. The prisoner gasped slightly, staring at Hammond. His muscles bulged quietly, and he was already accumulating his strength to fight. A hero. Haha, the old man has heard of you. Well, a group of people who have the responsibility to protect the people and eliminate weird people. Hammond stopped, his headlight-sized eyes staring at the prisoner who was blocking the road. After thinking for a while, he smiled and said, "You stopped me. Do you think I'm a weirdo?" No, I think you treat the weirdo. There is a big mistake in the definition of, and there is a great misunderstanding of the weirdos. Have you ever thought that we are actually all intelligent beings, and we can all live in peace, just like in the Universe Alliance planetary movie? Aliens of different races people unite to form a Universe Alliance, work together to build a better universe, and eliminate all other evils that destroy our homes. Besides, we dinosaurs are not born to be dinosaurs. We are willing to upgrade to dinosaurs because we love dinosaurs. Humans, in essence, we are still humans. To be precise, we are just humans with special hobbies. In fact, we differ from you like blacks and whites, except that there are some differences in appearance and preferences. In fact, we are also human beings. We can live together peacefully and build a better world together. Hammond babbled like an old man that Chase describes the beautiful world where humans and weirdos live in peace. Peaceful coexistence. The prisoner squeezed his chin and nodded thoughtfully. There was some truth to it. With more frequent weird invasions, peaceful coexistence between humans and weirdos might not be an effective way to solve weird problems. In fact, due to the more frequent weird invasions, the shortage of heroes has become more and more prominent. In order to solve the problem of the scarcity of heroes, the Heroes Association actively promotes the meaning and glory of heroes and attracts more elites to join. On the other hand, they have long been imprisoned. The weird man in the prison started an experiment aimed at controlling the weird man. If the experiment is successful, perhaps in the future humans and the weird man can really achieve limited, peaceful coexistence. As for Hammond's proposal, it simply doesn't work now, because human beings believe in, those who are not from our race will have different hearts. There is only one way to break the creed of mankind: conquer. Only when weirdos conquer mankind will humans be willing to get along with weirdos on an equal footing, just like the Kingdom of Heaven and the 8 countries in Europe and America in modern times. So, Hammond looked at the agitated prisoner, his eyes narrowed, his sturdy feet suddenly lifted, and he stepped the unsuspecting prisoner into the dirt with one foot. A trace of mockery flashed in his eyes. Only stupid seriously consider the enemy's proposal during the battle. Squeak. However, when Hammond thought that when the prisoner was dead, he made a toothless noise under the soles of his feet, and his sturdy feet were gradually lifted. "Ha, didn't you die?" His huge head dropped slightly, staring at the soles of his feet, and a tingling sensation came from the soles of his feet, and he could clearly notice that there was a palm of his hand supporting the soles of his feet. "Hey, I will only die on the bed of the boy I like, but not under the crotch of your bad old man." The prisoner gave a strong support. After opening a little space, he immediately kicked his feet, leapt back, and escaped from Hammond's smelly feet. Very good, full of the breath of a strong person. After the prisoner settled down and stabilized his body, he twisted his neck and arms, making a clicking sound of joint rubbing. He pointed to Hammond. "Old man, he should be recuperated in the nursing home when he is old. Maybe he can wake up the second spring. Become an old handsome guy again, instead of running around with a dinosaur holster to cause us trouble." Hey, there is a bit of truth in what you said. My old man should indeed go to a nursing home to recuperate, but... The huge head under Hammond approached the prisoner. The breath exhaled from his nose almost sprayed onto the prisoner's body, and his mouth showed a dozen centimeters. Long sharp fangs, which nursing home can take in me now? Of course there is, that is. The prisoner stared at Hammond's head. The muscles of his right arm suddenly bulged and slammed a punch to Hammond, who was close in front of him. At the same time, he shouted, "Weird prison nursing home." Boom. There was a muffled sound, and a fist as big as a prisoner's casserole hit Hammond's face firmly. Hammond's headlights stared at the prisoner who kept his punching posture with his fist still on his face. "You want to beat my old man? Yo, will the hero bully the old man too? I can tell you. Well, I have various late-stage problems such as heart disease, high blood pressure, high blood fat, etc. If you scare me, I might lie down and ruin you." Long-winded. The prisoner looked at Hammond, who hadn't reacted to his own punch. His heart tightened. This guy has such a strong defensive power. I can kill a tiger-level freak, but it has no effect on him. It seems that I have really met the strong. Hey, is this your attitude toward the elderly? As a hero, you should take the initiative to help the elderly who go out alone to cross the road. Hammond has a mental attack of the old naughty boy, and he can't help but molested the prisoner. Help the old man cross the road. The prisoner rained his fist on Hammond's face. "I am so happy to help you cross Wonkwan Road." Oh, Hammond raised his head again, out of the range of the prisoner's attack. He took a few breaths. "What a rude little guy, it hurts my old man." There is even more pain. When Hammond raised his head, the prisoner did not delay for a second, kicked hard under his feet, and threw himself into the air, his body slightly to his side, his arms raised, and his fists had already reached the peak. Boom. However, a sturdy tail swiftly flicked over, bringing a scream of wind and breaking wind, as if a plane flew by at low altitude, in the middle of the transformed prisoner. Puff. In an instant, the prisoner snorted, bowed into the shape of cooked shrimp, flew out and crashed into the tall building next to the refuge. Boom, boom, boom. He shot away like a cannonball, smashing through 3 buildings one after another, before his body came to a halt. This is a courtesy exchange. You punch me a few times, I will sweep you a whip, it's fair. Hammond's ridicule followed. My old man is much more polite than you young people. The prisoner is standing on the ground with one hand, with a solemn expression. The force of the whip that I suddenly endured is unexpectedly large, making my body as strong as steel tremble and painful, but I can't admit defeat, and I can't let him destroy the boys in the refuge. No way. The prisoner slowly stood up and assumed a rugby player ready to catch the ball. Transform. He squeezed his hands into fists and put them under his armpits, and a special effect 5-pointed star lit up on his chest. Then, a dazzling yellow light broke out from the stars and enveloped him. Enlighten. Transform. His biceps stretched forward and burst the prisoner's suit, shouting, "Prisoner." Angel. Form. He was naked, his muscles were more prominent, and he was obviously stronger than before. Let me use the strongest state. Old man, make a death consciousness. He was short, and immediately kicked his feet, throwing himself into the air, spreading his hands in a hug shape, and a pair of special effects angel wings appeared behind him, and shiratori hair fell in the sky like special effects, and he shouted, "Angel random hits." Boom, boom, boom. He swooped in front of Hammond in an instant, and his violent fist hit Hammond like a violent storm. After a punch, he punched a dozen more punches in succession, punches to the flesh, and continued to send more than a dozen punches. Road muffled. Oh, you are really a tenacious little guy, an annoying little thing, and even a rude pervert. It hurts my old man. Hammond stepped back slightly, smashing the street, leaving many footprints in the pit. He looked down at the prisoner who was still punching quickly. Its 2 short forelimbs were folded into fists, like a urchin. Like a chuckle, hey, continuous. Bawonkwan. It learns the way of punching prisoners, and punches the prisoner hanging on its chest. Boom, boom, Boom. So a scene of the drama appeared. The prisoner was just about to punch, and was suddenly beaten by Hammond's iron fist. His chest was tight for a moment, and his long breathing stopped instantly. He didn't lift it up. His face blushed, and worse. Yes, Hammond's powerful fist fell on him like raindrops, and the sandbags hanging from his entire portrait were let Hammond beat, without a trace of hope of resistance. Boom. In the end, Hammond narrowed his eyes, smiled slyly, and directed his fist towards the monster sanctuary in M City, and then hit the prisoner with a full blow with a fist the size of a grinding plate. Puff! The prisoner bowed and spit out blood, and his body was like a cannonball fired, blasting towards the refuge, and hitting the wall of the refuge in a moment. Boom! This violent impact directly broke through the hard walls of the refuge, exposing a gate-like hole on the wall of the enclosed refuge, allowing the citizens in the refuge to clearly see the head of Hammond's ferocious Tyrannosaurus. The third refuge in M City. Tens of thousands of people crowded inside, or sat on the ground, or walked away with anxiety, or sat in a daze. The sentient beings were in various forms, and more of them were noisy sounds, which made the refuge look very noisy. In the noisy atmosphere, there is an elegant classical music that soothes people's nervous state of mind. The administrator girl who was stationed here by the Heroes Association shouted loudly with a loudspeaker, "Citizens, please rest assured that this refuge was built by the Heroes Association with a huge amount of money. The craftsmanship is full of ultra-modern technology and protection. The super fortress of mankind." Her clear voice attracted the citizens who had sought refuge here. She continued to proudly introduce the technological content of the refuge. The outer layer of the refuge can withstand ultra-high temperatures through special treatment. Even if the molten slurry is spilled, the refuge cannot be destroyed. More importantly, the special outer layer can absorb any type of attack. Neither tanks nor missiles can destroy this specialized copper wall and iron wall. After her introduction to the refuge, the people's worried state of mind finally relaxed. Such a strong fortress, even ghost-level weirdos, shouldn't be able to break it. In the various structures of the shelter, a biological monitoring system is installed at the entrance, so that only humans can pass safely. The weird person will be identified even if it is dressed up as a human. The liquid gas sprayed on the ceiling is a spray that is beneficial to human health. The classical music concerts will relax your body and mind and relieve your psychological pressure. When the shelter was constructed, the association took into account all aspects of the situation and installed various systems and structures. There were no loopholes from the outside to the inside. This is truly perfect. This third shelter is perfect. The fortress, before the weirdos are wiped out by the heroes, please stay here with peace of mind. It is absolutely safe. The administrator girl humbly promoted the solidity and safety of the refuge, soothed the worried citizens, and expelled people's worries and doubts. After some speeches, people were completely relieved, smiles bloomed on their tight faces, and they began to talk and laugh with relatives and friends, and no longer worry too much about the weird disaster outside. Isn't there a hero? We just need to wait until the heroes eliminate the weirdos. Their ideas were unexpectedly unanimous. Boom. However, just as they were expecting that the weird would soon be wiped out by the powerful heroes, the 10-meter-high wall of the refuge called the Copper Wall and Iron Wall burst through a big hole, and a severely injured figure fell to the ground. Sneer. The prisoner's body rubbed more than 10 meters on the floor of the refuge before he could stop. His naked body was covered with bludgeoning black and purple scars. It was shocking and even more tragic. Under heavy punches, his whole body the swelling and pain, like a fat pig, has no human appearance. I am afraid that even his mother will not recognize it. The citizens in the refuge looked stupidly at the big hole opened in the bronze wall and iron wall. Their eyes shifted from the prisoner to the administrator girl. The administrator sister, is this what you mean by the copper wall and iron wall? Can it absorb any type of attack? Is it perfect? Can you explain what the hell is that big hole? Are you teasing us? The administrator girl looked at the big hole in the wall of the refuge in astonishment, with her mouth wide open, and said, We considered all kinds of attacks. There are energy attacks, missile attacks, and sword attacks, but only I have never considered a meat bomb attack. She obviously subconsciously defended the association. Normally, an iron wall that can resist missile attacks cannot resist physical attacks such as fists. It's just that this is an unreasonable world, and some people's physical attacks are pervert horrifying, and it is natural to break through the small walls of the refuge. In fact, there has never been any data showing that the refuge can withstand the attacks of ghost-level weirdos. Everything is just the propaganda of the association. Roar. Just as the citizens were in a collective silence, they were awakened by a huge roar outside the cave. Weirdo is here, everyone, run away. Mom, save me. Don't push me, there is no way ahead. The citizens screamed like ants on a hot pot and fled in terror. However, they suddenly discovered that there were no other intersections in the refuge and all exits were sealed. Administrator, quickly open the exit, I don't want to die. Quick, open the exit, the weirdo is about to rush in, run away. The administrator girl looked at the angry citizens, stepped back in fright, crying and said, I can't open it. As long as the defense system of this refuge is activated, all exits will be automatically closed and sealed. So it's impossible to get out from the exit, except, unless it's the headquarters disarming the defense system, no, otherwise we can't get out at all. What the hell is that? Tell the Heroes Association headquarters to disarm the defense system. Yes, I will call right away. The administrator girl called the headquarters in a panic. Boom. However, just at this moment, the big hole suddenly slammed into a prehistoric beast that was more than 10 meters high, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Hammond glanced at the fearful citizens and smiled slightly. Hello, my former compatriots, are you happy? Happy you are paralyzed. The citizens came up with the same thoughts in unison. They looked at Hammond as a hill with fear, and unconsciously retreated to the wall farthest from Hammond. Don't be afraid, I have no interest in killing you. Hammond sat down and shook the shelter. He twisted his neck, smiled, and said like an acquaintance, oh, when the person is old, the activities are a little too intense, the whole body is exhausted, and all the old problems have been committed. Yes, you can tell me King, let him come as soon as possible, and say that I will wait for him for 3 hours and 1 minute late. This will be hell. He made some horrible remarks lightly, and the citizens shivered with fright. Click. At this moment, the prisoner who had fallen down stood up swayingly, his whole body soft like swaying noodles. How could he fall so easily? He glanced at the frightened boys and felt a pain in his heart. He gritted his teeth and wiped the blood on his face indiscriminately. The boys are saving right in front of me. How can I fall down? He tried to straighten up his swollen body, panting hard, staring at Hammond. I will never allow you to hurt the cute boys. Hey, can you still stand up? Tenacious little guy, but. Hammond looked down at the wobbly prisoner. He grinned, my old man doesn't have much time to pester you with such an impolite pervert, you just lie down quietly. As soon as the voice fell, his sturdy tail swept over and swept the weakened prisoner against the wall, and a heavy bang sounded, and the prisoner's body sank the iron wall into the wall and set it on the wall. Superior. Too weak. He squirmed his whole body a few times, gradually calmed down, and passed out into a coma. Boys, I'm sorry, I failed to protect you. Look, my old man has added a nice decoration to your sanctuary. Thank you so much. Then in return, you can tell King to save you soon, otherwise my old man can't help but save you all. Kill it for dinner. Quickly, who can inform Mr. King? Mr. King, come and save us. Only Mr. King can save us. The panicked citizens seemed to have grasped the last straw, and tried every means to notify King to destroy the weird people and save them from hell. Chapter 71. City A. War Room at the Heroes Association headquarters. What? The third refuge has been breached by the Tyrannosaurus dinosaurs. Sick listened in shock to the report from the sanctuary administrator girl. Wait a minute, didn't the prisoner catch up to stop the dinosaur man in time? The 16th of the S-class hero, prisoner. We didn't see him. Oh, there is a hero who was seriously injured, but he has been beaten by the dinosaurs so badly that he can't recognize who it is. The only one the definite feature is that he is completely naked. The administrator girl answered very quickly. All river crabs naked. Sichi was silent for a moment. He knew the fighting methods of the major S-class heroes. He immediately thought of the angel form of the prisoner. The hero who was beaten by Hammond was a prisoner. He was a little shocked, and a little bit unbelievable. Prisoners are S-rank heroes. Even the last S-rank heroes have the ability to eliminate ghost-level weirdos alone. Prisoners will be beaten by Hammond without fighting back. Force. This matter needs to be verified. Oh, Yes, the badly injured hero said inexplicable things like never allow boys to be hurt, before he fell completely. Shichi said silently, it seems that there is no need to verify that the badly injured naked hero is definitely a prisoner, and only he can shout such strange slogans among the heroes. How is the situation in the refuge now? Are the Tyrannosaurus Rex dinosaurs opening the killing ring? Don't worry, I immediately asked Jace to shut down the defense system and open the various exits. His face was dignified, the refuge was breached, and there must have been a river of blood flowing there, becoming a hell on earth, old Hammond. Ah, that, the administrator girl said hesitantly, the shelter is fine for the time being, and the citizens are not in danger for the time being, but what? Ziki said anxiously. What is the situation in the refuge right now? You can tell me carefully. The Tyrannosaurus Rex dinosaurs guarded the only exit and told us to inform King to come within 3 hours, otherwise, then all the citizens of the refuge will be killed. King. 6 pupils shrank, and it turned out that Hammond's goal was King. Before, their association wondered why Hammond went to the L City and went straight to the M City. Now all the truth has come to light. Hammond from the beginning to the end. The ultimate goal is King, including the wanton destruction of M City and the attack on the third refuge, everything is to leave King out. The other staff in the battle room were all shocked, full of surprise. The dinosaur man's target was actually the strongest man on the surface, King. Who gave it the courage to challenge King? Is this dinosaur impatient? With a serious face, Collison pushed his glasses. Minister, Hammond is so urgent to kill King, his purpose is nothing more than two. One is to avenge the dead Ankylosaurus and other dinosaurs, and the other is to wipe out the dinosaurs. As an obstacle to the rise of man, King is recognized as the strongest man and is the thorn in the eyes of all weirdos. King has become a banner to resist weirdos. As long as this banner does not fall, all weirdos will be in panic all day long. Therefore, Hammond has probably tried to knock down the heroic banner of King and move away the heavy mountain on the head of the weirdo. Shichihu asked, if King and Hammond fight, who do you think will win? Coulson smiled faintly, the two are not comparable. Shichi chuckled, as long as Hammond doesn't hurt the citizens, then let him go to death. Maria and the others also laughed. Dare to challenge King specifically, that weird person is definitely old and confused. All the staff in the war room were full of confidence in King's strength, which is the absolute trust in King's strength accumulated from King's sturdy records and the tragic deaths of strangers. King is invincible. This is the consensus they have formed over the past 3 years. Report to the minister, the big thing is not good. While everyone was laughing easily, a staff member answered a phone call. His face changed greatly, and he hurriedly reported to Ziki, there is a reporter from M City TV in the third refuge. At this moment, M City TV is broadcasting live M to the world. The situation in the city's third refuge has caused an uproar among people all over the world. What? Ziki's face changed and he ordered anxiously, quickly switch the big screen to the M City Weird channel. Yes, knowing the seriousness of the matter, Maria quickly operated the computer to switch the big screen in the war room to the weird channel of the M City TV station. Dear audience friends, you can see that my place is the third refuge in M City, which was built by the Heroes Association with a huge amount of money. As you can see, the shelter did not stop the impact of the ghost-level weird Tyrannosaurus dinosaur man. The dinosaur man asked Mr. King to be there within 3 hours, otherwise he would kill all of us. Come, let's interview the scene. Citizen. A reporter from the weird channel of the M City TV station, Dale talked to the camera. It's a coincidence that they were mixed into the refuge and planned to interview the residents of the refuge about the dinosaur invasion. They didn't expect to encounter it. Upper Hammond attacks the shelter. At the beginning, their reporter team was also terrified. However, when Hammond made it clear that they were not interested in them and did not attack the citizens, they gradually relieved and even had a bold idea to broadcast the weird invasion of the scene. Condition. On the one hand, such a stimulating scene will definitely increase the ratings of the program, and maybe after this battle, they immediately became popular, their wages doubled, their benefits increased, their bonuses were softened, and they reached the pinnacle of their lives. On the other hand, they just happened. You can ask the world for help through live broadcast, and notify Mr. King or other S-level heroes to come and rescue them, and you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They discussed it a little bit, set up the equipment decisively, and embarked on an intense and exciting tour of the live broadcast of the weird invasion. Mr. King, can you watch our live broadcast? Please come and save us. No matter which hero it is, please hurry up and save us. Mr. King, come on. We are all waiting for you. Zeke and the others looked at the crying citizens on the big screen, their chests were blocked, and it was unspeakable. This was to expose the incompetence of the Heroes Association to people all over the world, and the Heroes Association's face was lost. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell. Since the report appeared, Zeke's cell phone has not been stopped, and the senior officials of the association have constantly called and asked him to suppress the matter in the shortest time and minimize the adverse impact on the association. Half a quarter of an hour later, Zeke took a deep breath and calmly ordered, Jace, immediately contact M-City TV and ask them to withdraw the program to avoid panic in the world. The influence of the live broadcast of the TV station is too great, and it easily caused a serious bad influence on the Heroes Association. It is necessary to withdraw the TV station program in time to avoid the expansion of the bad influence. Yes, Minister, Jace said solemnly to contact M-City TV. Maria, immediately raise the disaster level of the Tyrannosaurus Rex dinosaur to Dragon. Remember, this time weird level broadcast is going to the whole world, not limited to the place where the disaster occurred. Hammond successively destroyed a small part of the city of L&M, plus defeated the S-class heroic prisoner, has been qualified to be promoted to the level of Dragon Disaster. Moreover, he must not let people all over the world think of a small ghost-level weirdos make the association so embarrassed. If it is a Dragon-level weirdo, then it is reasonable to be able to break through the refuge, and it can slightly reverse the public's bad impression of the association. Dragon. Maria shook for a moment, then reacted and said loudly, yes, Minister. She turned to debug the weird alarms in major cities, preparing to broadcast the latest weird disaster levels. Coelson, contact King and Tornado and ask them to rush to the scene as soon as possible to eliminate the weird people. Remember, try to ensure the safety of the citizens. In the final analysis, only by eliminating Hammond as soon as possible can the storm completely calm down. The only S-rank heroes in M-City are King, prisoners, and the upcoming Tornado. Among them, the prisoners have lost their combat effectiveness, so they only have I hope that the two trump cards of the association King and Trembling Tornado. Understood, Minister. Collison pushed his glasses, nodded solemnly, and turned to contact Tornado. After Zeke gave a series of orders, he slumped in his seat and rubbed his temples. Recently, weird disasters have occurred frequently, and the trust of the citizens in the association is getting lower and lower. If this continues, I am afraid that the citizens will abandon the Association of Heroes completely. After a while, Jace came back angrily, Minister, the person in charge of the M-City TV station refused to cancel the program, and said with confidence that their program complies with government regulations and we have no right to interfere with their program arrangements. Zeke was silent for a while, and said in a bitter voice, they are right. We really don't have the right to interfere with their program arrangements. We are just a private organization, not the world government. We have no right. Even if the Heroes Association enjoys a great reputation, they cannot escape the fact that they are just civil organizations that enforce justice, not statutory agencies under the government. The operation depends on their own capabilities. If they operate well, the association can always exist and fail to operate. The association was soot-scattered. The reality is so cruel. The Association of Heroes has resisted the weirdos for many years. The government has never injected a penny into them. The funds for operation are all sponsored by themselves, so as to raise funds from the people. The citizens complain that they have become the bodyguards of the rich. Who has thought about their difficulties? They have no choice. If the association is to continue to operate, it can only rely on the sponsorship of the rich. After all, the public funds are too small. Jace also showed a sad look on his face. The sadness is similar to that of a martyr who has been loyal to his country but has been scolded by thousands of people. Minister, what should we do next? Sichi said meaningfully. Let him go. Live broadcasts all over the world can ruin our Heroes Association, and it can also make us more famous. Jace was stunned for a while, thinking carefully for a while, and his heart moved. Minister, you mean King and Tornado? Ziki nodded slightly. I hope the two of them can win the battle more beautifully. Q City. People are very concerned about the weird invasion that occurred in the third refuge of M City. Isn't M City a city guarded by King? How come weird people raged over and over again? The last weird prison riot, this time the dinosaurs invaded, isn't King known as the strongest man? King has tried his best. Didn't you listen to the report just now? King ran around and killed 3 ghost-level dinosaurs in a row. There are really too many ghost-level weirdos this time. Mr. King doesn't have clone technique, so he loses his mind. It's normal. Fortunately, our Q City is protected by the police dogman. No matter how powerful weird people are, they can't run rampant in Q City. Is that dinosaur upgraded by a fool? He took the initiative to provoke King. Who knows, maybe I was tired of life and wanted to die a little greater, so I went to Mr. King. City Z. As a city where weird things happen most frequently, the citizens here are numb to weird invasions, and they complain more about the incompetence of the Heroes Association. The Heroes Association is becoming more and more incompetent, and the previous weirdos have not been so arrogant. Oh, most of the urban weird legends in the Book of Heroes come from our no man's land in Z City, but the no man's land is going to be abandoned, and the association has not sent anyone to investigate the situation of the weird in the no man's land. The Association of Heroes has fallen. People in cities B, F, K and other major cities are paying great attention to the scene of the third refuge in M City. While discussing the situation enthusiastically, they are also very curious. King will appear in time and kill the weird. And protect the citizens. Just as the citizens smashed the seeds to watch the show, the weird siren in the center of the city suddenly sounded. Citizens, please pay attention. Citizens, please, in view of the fact that the ghost-level monsters that appeared in the third refuge of M City have successively damaged the urban areas of L City and M City, and have reached the level of dragon-level disasters, the association hereby officially raises its disaster level. It's a dragon. It is broadcast again. Citizens, please pay attention. Citizens, please pay attention. In view of the fact that the ghost-level monsters that appeared in the third refuge of M City have continuously damaged the urban areas of L City and M City, and have reached the level of dragon-level disasters, the association hereby declares its disasters. The level is officially promoted to dragon level. Wow, the whole people were in an uproar. The Tyrannosaurus dinosaur who they thought was a ghost-level weirdo became a dragon-level weirdo, and the situation became more complicated. Over the city M. A transport plane was passing by quickly, and the association's announcement was also heard. The pilot was shocked. Master Tornado, the disaster level of that dinosaur is raised to. Click. Before the pilot had finished speaking, there was a sound of broken glass. He looked back in amazement, and a fast green light flashed outside the windshield of the cab. The dragon-level weirdo belongs to me, King, you are sure to lose. The pilot looked at the tornado in surprise. Just as he was about to catch up, the plane lost weight suddenly. He was shocked. Oops, the airflow rushed into the plane. He decisively pressed the parachute button, and his whole body flew out of the driver's cab, swooping, and then opened the parachute, floating slowly in the air. Within the city of L. A vague figure passed quickly across the street, and when the announcement of the Heroes Association sounded, the figure stopped abruptly. Saitama scratched his face. Did that weird man go to M City again? He took it out of his body and took out a M City supermarket sale leaflet from a stack of supermarket sale leaflets. His face was full of joy. There is a supermarket in M City for sale. Take a walk and fight the weirdo by the way. Allosaurus, stop. Riding behind the Allosaurus and rushing to the third refuge, King suddenly heard the association's announcement and hurriedly stopped the Allosaurus. Allosaurus cautiously asked, Mr. King, shall we turn around and return? King was silent and entangled. This cheat, the ghost-level weirdo has been upgraded to the dragon-level weird, which means that even if he rushes away, he is not sure to kill the weird, and it may even be counter-killed by the weird. Allosaurus was observing his words. Before he waited for King to speak, he took the initiative to turn his body, although he could not wait to throw King at the feet of the doctor, but now others are under the eaves and have to bow their heads, let alone show the slightest sign of rebellion. Hey, where are you going? Allosaurus ran to awaken the thinking King. and he sighed slightly. I'm going to the third refuge, and you are running the other way. Huh, Mr. King, are you going to the third refuge? You have beaten the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Allosaurus was very surprised and a little excited, but King took the initiative to ask to go to the refuge, and took the initiative to send himself to the doctor's fangs. King did not answer. He stared at the front. Alas, a hero by luck is also a hero. How can he escape from the battle knowing that the citizens are in danger? The hero does not have to stop the weirdo, but must stand in front of the weirdo to stop the weirdo. He took a deep breath, his face solemn. Saitama, where are you? I always miss you. Boom. Allosaurus ran unrestrainedly, wishing to reach the third refuge in the next second, and let the doctor slash the king. He sprinted as hard as he could, and he reached the third refuge in M City within a few minutes. King looked at the refuge right in front of him, with a little urge to kill Allosaurus. Why are you running so fast, rushing to reincarnate me? Roar. After the Allosaurus approached the refuge, it roared, and immediately before King could react, he slammed his body, and King sitting on his back was caught off guard and was thrown to the refuge. Hammond, who was standing in front of the big hole, hammered his tired waist and legs while complaining that he was old, and all kinds of problems such as heart disease, rheumatism, etc. appeared. Even if he became a dinosaur, these old problems still followed stubbornly. Babbling like an old man. Oh, he was an old man. Ha, Allosaurus. At this moment, he suddenly heard the roar of Allosaurus. His eyes lit up. King. Did Allosaurus actually send King? The cells all over his body became excited in an instant, suddenly got up, smashed the floor of the refuge with one foot, turned around and came to the big hole, staring at the flying black shadow in front of him. Allosaurus, I'm going to kill you skewered and grilled. King's body flies like a parabola in the air, and the situation right now is as if he is walking on the road and being pushed by someone. Even if he can fly, he can't control his flying stature for the time being. He watched him fall to the ground. In the midair not far in front of Hammond, for the Allosaurus, he wanted to cut the Allosaurus into a string and grill, sprinkle some cumin, and eat it when it was half ripe, without vomiting the bones. King, you are finally here. My old man waited so hard for you. Hammond looked at King emotionally. That's right, this man, known as the strongest man on the surface, King, is the biggest obstacle to the rise of my dinosaur family. As long as he is removed, the rise of my dinosaur will be greatly reduced. Resistance. Hoo-hoo. He was breathing fast, and his heart was beating violently. The scene that seemed to see the rise of the dinosaurs deeply stimulated him, and made him refreshed and excited. King was able to stabilize his figure, and when he looked up, he saw a dinosaur grinning at him. His pupils suddenly shrank. A dragon-level freak, a Tyrannosaurus dinosaur. Hiss. He took a deep breath, and his expression tightened. He was not sure to defeat Hammond, even if he used the only 4-star monster card. He was not sure to clean up the Tyrannosaurus dinosaur. Such a thrilling scene made his heart throb and throb fast. Choo-choo, choo-choo, choo-choo. A strange engine sound gradually sounded in the air, like a roar of a sports car or a roar of a fighter plane, connecting into one piece in the air, condensing the air and making the atmosphere of the scene dignified for an instant. Who? This sound, well, so familiar. What is it called? By the way, the Emperor engine, the iconic sound of King Yu entering the fighting state. Oops, my old man's heart thumped and thumped. Hammond took a few breaths, grinned, and looked at King with a cold face. The blood in his whole body seemed to be poured into boiling water, and it boiled instantly, making him want to kill King, the strongest man. At the same time, the citizens of the refuge and the viewers watching the weird channel of the M City TV station watched Hammond suddenly get up. They were nervously thinking that Hammond was waiting impatiently and preparing to kill. When the fire was purging, a stalwart figure fell from the sky, and at the same time glared at the dragon-level weird Tyrannosaurus dinosaur hockey, yelling, "I'm going to kill you, skewered and grilled." Everyone who watched this scene was shocked, and only felt that there was a fire in their hearts as if it was about to explode, making their blood boil, and there was only one word in their whole body: burn, burn, burn. How many people from hockey can yell, "I'm going to string you up and eat," to the dragon-level weirdo? How powerful is a person to despise dragon-level weird people so much? There is only one person, and this one person, that is the most powerful man on the surface, King. Choo-choo, choo-choo, choo-choo. Ha, who? King's imperial engine is activated. It shows that the king has entered a fighting state, and it's a good show, it's about to begin. Guess how many rounds that stupid dinosaur can hold in the hands of king. I guess it will die if it doesn't last a round. The citizens of the refuge and the audience in front of the TV held their breaths and stared at the king with wide-eyed eyes. This is a good opportunity to watch the king fight with his own eyes, especially the battle between the king and the dragon-level weirdo, which is a once-in-a-lifetime. Unforgettable. What moves will king use to kill the weirdo? King Flow Qigong profound meaning Purgatory Warrior's explosive heat wave cannon? Or the latest Emperor's mouth cannon? Or is it a legendary superpower? All the puzzles on King's body deeply attracted the curiosity of the locals. Hammond stared at King for a long time, suddenly laughed. King, kill yourself. Suicide. Did you encounter a mental retardation? King looked at Hammond, who suddenly laughed inexplicably. Fighting as soon as he was fighting, why are you laughing so happy? King, aren't you a hero? Isn't the role of a hero to protect the citizens? There are tens of thousands of hostages behind me. Should you save them as a hero? If you don't commit suicide, my old man will kill him. Brother Harmon became more excited as he spoke. His breathing became heavier and heavier. Hoo-hoo, King, as a hero, what should you do? At this moment, Hammond is like a devil, with a fanatical look, and he has become a lunatic through and through. No, he was originally a lunatic, a mad scientist, a madman who tried to restore the age of dinosaurs. Mean. All the people who saw this scene angrily raised the same thought at the same time, using Mr. King's heroic identity to disturb Mr. King's mentality, making Mr. King a dilemma. What a despicable dinosaur. What? King was slightly startled, looking at the crazy Hammond. Did he meet a madman? You hesitated, ha, it is so, then my old man will help you make the decision. Hammond left behind some inexplicable words, and immediately ordered Allosaurus to say, Allosaurus, kill crazy, use blood and life to help King make decisions. Roar. Allosaurus roared, turned and rushed to the citizens of the refuge. Ha ha, King, let me use my blood to help you decide. Roar. It's so cool, King, you just insulted me like this, now I want to retaliate return. Are you crazy? King's eyes widened and he looked at Hammond, who was gradually mad. This guy must be crazy. Yes, he is a complete lunatic. What? The citizens saw Allosaurus rushing towards them, and suddenly screamed back. As the Allosaurus ran wildly, he glanced back at the helpless King, and immediately admired Hammond's five-body cast. He was worthy of being a doctor. He knew how to use the identity of King's hero to make King's dilemma. The winner of the battle must be me, the big dinosaur man. Oops. Citizens from major cities who were watching the weird channel of M-City TV saw Allosaurus rushing to innocent people so despicably. At the same time, the picture on the TV was shaken by the cameraman rushing away, and even watched it for a while. Without the pictures of dinosaurs and King, they were anxious, and their hearts were itchy like monkeys, causing them to fidget and wander around in front of the TV, their eyes always staring at the TV screen, looking forward to seeing King's big hair Kamui wiped out. That despicable dinosaur man. Hammond yelled. King, because of your hesitation, countless lives will be lost. All these tragedies are all because of you, because of your hesitation in vain of other people's lives. His expression became more and more crazy. There was a kind of fanaticism of religious believers. Allosaurus lifted his spirits. Heart attack. This is an upright mind attack strategy. This is an arrogant plan. Even if King sees through the purpose of the doctor, he has nothing to do. On the premise that there is no way to take King's body temporarily, attack King's mind is the best choice. As long as King's mentality is unbalanced, his strength will be greatly reduced, and the hope of our dinosaurs will be greatly increased. Doctor deserves to be the genius who gave us dinosaurs rebirth. King was stunned at the behavior of Hammond and Allosaurus. Are you going to force me to submit? Disturb my mind. Stop making trouble, okay. Although I came here because of the name of the hero, I am just a hero by luck. Being a hero is not my intention, and protecting the citizens is not my interest. Therefore, you can't affect me at all if you kill the citizens. What? In fact, as long as you stand in front of me, I will be involuntarily fearful, and my soul will be messed up. You don't need to engage in all kinds of conspiracies. King's expression, is it angry? Is it sad? Too much, King, although you are the strongest man, but the useless name of Arrow drags you down and becomes your biggest weakness, which is invulnerable. In fact, when you accept the title of Arrow, you are not the strongest anymore. Allosaurus is always paying attention to King's every move. When he sees King's face becoming ugly, his face is full of excitement, sweeping away the humiliation of King's slave before. King, watch the blood-spattering scene with your own eyes, watching the citizen you want to protect die on the spot. That scene must be very exciting, ha, ha ha. Hammond fell into a state of madness, like an excited mad dog, with his mouth open and grinning, fishy saliva flowing down the corner of his mouth, truly becoming a ferocious beast. Ah, help, King, help us. Help, the citizens of the refuge screamed and fled. Where is King? King is about to kill the dinosaur man. Oh, the dinosaur man is about to kill, why didn't King move yet? King's Qigong technique is the profound meaning Purgatory Warrior's explosive wave cannon. King is about to make a move. The audience in front of the TV looked at the shaking camera and yelled anxiously, wishing to take the place of King. King looked at Crazy Hammond dumbfounded, and then at the traitor, Allosaurus rushing into the crowd. His mouth twitched. It seems that he must use the Desire Judge's card, even if he has nothing to protect the citizen's interest, but he is a hero. It is the responsibility of his hero to destroy the weird. Even if it can't stop the weird, he still tries his best to stop it and lives up to the name of a hero. He took a few deep breaths, allowed himself to relax as much as possible, restrained the accelerating heartbeat, and kept calm during the fight as the best policy. Chance. The seemingly crazy Hammond's headlight-sized eyes flashed with a glimmer of light. King's tight body became loose, and the Emperor's engine in the fighting state gradually weakened, and his heart was messed up. He grinned cruelly. King, my old man takes your life. His body rushed forward quickly. The blood basin opened wide, revealing sharp fangs 10 centimeters long stained with fishy saliva. The dragon head quickly threw it towards the king, and his mouth bit down towards the king. King was full of spirits. Hammond's attack was too fast, and when he could react, the big mouth of the blood basin was already in front of him, making him inevitable. Almost. Soon, the king is about to die under my fangs. Ha, ha, as long as the king is eliminated, no hero in the world can stop me, Hammond. My dream of rebuilding the dinosaur family will soon be realized. The eyes of Hammond's headlights were filled with excitement, as if he saw the blood splashing on the spot, and the wonderful future of the dinosaurs occupying the world. Ha ha, King is dying. After taking a glance, the Allosaurus roared excitedly, and immediately stared at the tiny humans fiercely. You also go to hell with that King. What? King is dying. Impossible. Woo, even King failed, we can't live. After the fled citizens heard the roar of the Allosaurus, their faces were dull. Without the king, who can stop these two ghost dragon level weirdos? Who can save them? No one is gone, no one is anymore, they are dead. Ah, King is dead. How is it possible? How could my idol lose to a weirdo? Absolutely impossible. That weird nonsense. Who sees King dead? How could King die in the hands of weird people? He is king. How could a strongest man who feared countless weird people die there easily? The audience in front of the TV changed their faces, and they couldn't accept or believe the news of King's failure and death. No Man's Land in Z City. The weird man with big eyes stared at the TV screen. The king is dead. Ha, if it is true, then our association will have less resistance in the future. Unfortunately, the king, who is known as the strongest man, will probably not die. In the hands of the dinosaurs, ha ha, after all, it's a bunch of self-righteous beasts, it's hard to be a climate. A research institute in Y City. Tongdi was welding a tool similar to glasses with a lollipop in his hand. Hearing the roar of the beast on the screen, he raised his head and glanced up. That admirable uncle will die in the hands of a dragon-level weirdo. Well, it's such a fake news. After shook his head, he lowered his head to fix the stuff in his hand. City A. Zeki and the others stared at the shaking screen, trying to see the situation clearly, but the lens never stopped on King and Hammond, making them hateful. A staff member stupidly asked, "Hey, do you think King will really die in the hands of the Tyrannosaurus Rex?" The other staff looked at the staff who spoke like an idiot. There were already several dragon-level weirdos who died in the hands of King. Which one was not better than the dinosaur in front of him, but was punched by King? Kill. Can this dinosaur kill King? Well, it is really possible, because the dinosaur man has lived in his dreams since he challenged the king, and it is really possible to kill the king in his dream. At the same time, heroes such as Sweetheart Mask in City R and Zombie Boy in City W are also paying attention to this rare battle, and they cannot deny the news of King's death. Boom. However, just as the Allosaurus was ecstatic, the citizens were desperate, and the audience panicked. A huge sound of a heavy object falling suddenly sounded in the refuge, and the huge sound resembled a shaking that shook the refuge a few times. Well, Allosaurus looked back suspiciously, his eyes rounded instantly, and he saw Hammond's huge body crashing down, twitching slightly on the ground, breathing out, but not breathing in. During the time he was not paying attention, Hammond had actually reached the point of dying. Bo, Doctor lost. The huge body of Allosaurus immediately froze, and the joy on his face was even more condensed. He stared at the dragon's eyes and looked at the dying Hammond with a face full of disbelief. He raised his head to look at King, who was standing high and his face always cold. Hiss. King was knocking down the postdoc, but he was unscathed, and there was no wrinkle in his clothes. It was terrifying. King was really terrifying. I was delusional. Enemy with him. I'm so tired of living in crooked. His cold sweat quietly dripped, and he looked at the stalwart King with anxiety. Hey. King looked down at the doctor. Well, what is King's expression? Disdain? Contempt? Disagree? Hiss. He took another breath of cold air, and the fear on his face became more intense. The doctor's strength was much stronger than mine, but he still existed like an ant in King's eyes, and he was killed without any effort, even more dismissively. Wait a minute, since King has such a strong strength, why did he hesitate before, and he refused to come over until I turned around and directed me to the refuge? He thought about it for a moment, and he became more and more frightened. Routine, King is completely routine me, from the beginning, King has not trusted me. What hesitates, what can't beat the doctor, is all fake, it's all testing me whether to surrender sincerely, but. However, I didn't pass King's test, it's over. King will definitely kill me as a traitor. What should I do? Allosaurus thought carefully and was terrified. The thick dragon legs were slightly soft, and the crotch was inexplicably urinating. At the same time, the citizens who fled also found the strange Allosaurus and the fallen Hammond. They were initially frightened and then overjoyed. King killed the dragon-level disaster dinosaur man. Oh, King. Saved. We are saved. Long live King. Woo. I thought I was dead, but I didn't expect that I could continue to live. King. I am willing to be a cow and a horse for you all my life. The citizens of the rest of their lives were dancing and shouting, venting the joy in their hearts frantically. Allosaurus looked at the citizens who were ignoring him and singing and dancing, and his heart was full of anger. However, under King's lust, he squatted quietly on the ground like a puppy, for fear of making a noise. Let King notice him. The dinosaur man is dead. The dinosaur man is dead. The frontline reporter of the Weird channel of the M-City TV station yelled at the camera with excitement. The audience friends in front of the TV, as you can see, the dragon-level weird Tyrannosaurus was easily defeated by King. I fell on the ground and twitched. It seemed that I could not survive. However, when everyone looked at King again, there was no panting, not even a trace of fatigue, and even his posture never moved from beginning to end. You blocked the camera, look at you paralyzed, go away, we don't want to look at you, we look at King and weirdos. The audience in front of the TV stared at Dale, who occupies the screen, and was excited. Even though Dale is a beautiful woman, they can't wait to kick it away. They want to watch King. You, get out of here. What? Fortunately, at this time, Dale introduced the situation sideways in time, otherwise, I am afraid that the complaint hotline of the M-City TV station will be blown up. Look, everyone, the dragon-level monster Tyrannosaurus Rex doesn't have a trace of scars on his body, as if he was asleep, but we know very well that Tyrannosaurus Rex can no longer wake up. It will sleep here and become the spirit of many weirdos in King's hands. A member of. At this moment, the audience in front of the TV can finally see King suspended in the air and Hammond lying quietly on the ground knowing his life or death. King killed the dragon-level weirdo. Unexpectedly, this stupid dinosaur dared to challenge my big King. It was a mouse entering the cat's nest looking for food finding death. Ha, What dragon-level weirdos and ghost-level weirdos, in front of my idol king, they are all garbage weirdos. The audience unexpectedly didn't have much excitement. Isn't it normal for King to kill a little dragon-level weird? What's so exciting? They were so excited because they could finally see King shot with their own eyes. However, the tragedy was that they still did not witness the scene of King killing the weirdo. The timid photographer patronized and escaped without catching it at all. The slightest content of King's killing of weird people. Garbage photographer, wasting my passion and time, bah. The audience screamed at the undecided photographer. ... People who eat melons look at the excitement, and the weirdos and heroes look at the essence. City Z. The big-eyed weird stared at the screen blankly. King really lives up to the name of the strongest. It seems that if our association wants to succeed in something, King is a peak that we have to face. Can we climb it? He pondered one. Yes, immediately said coldly. Why do you want to climb? The mountain is too high and difficult to pass, then penetrate it, hollow out its body, dig out a passageway. King absolutely cannot become an obstacle to our association. City Y. Tong Di, who was staying in the research institute, licked the lollipop and glanced at the TV screen. Well, I said that Uncle King will not die in the hands of weirdos, because Uncle King's strength is too strong. No weird will it be his opponent, eh? Right, you can ask Uncle King to try out my newly invented toy. He happily played with the weird glasses in his hand, and the idea of inviting King to study the experiment arose in his mind. City A. Heroes Association Headquarters. Yeah, Ziki and others waved their hands fiercely, and the gloom in their hearts was wiped out. King did a good job. As the trump card of the association, winning the Tyrannosaurus dinosaur man so beautifully, the association's image in the public might improve a lot. And as long as the King is undefeated, as long as the King still belongs to the Heroes Association, then most people will always support the association. Siki laughed and said. Maria immediately announced the news that King easily killed the dragon-level weird in the form of a broadcast. This time we want to celebrate. It is not so much a celebration of the whole world, as it is another propaganda, propagating the strong muscles and sturdy power of the Heroes Association. Yes, Minister. Maria took the order with a face full of excitement, and turned around and started to debug the weird sirens of various cities. In addition, other heroes who always pay attention to the battle between King and Hammond reacted differently to the outcome of the war. What? Compared to the cheering citizens, King looked dumbfounded. What happened before him was too weird. Hammond was about to bite him to death. Who knew he was about to use the desired judge's weird card? Datu stiffened all over his body, suddenly fell to the ground, his face full of pain and grimness, his body twitched slightly, as if he had suffered a stroke. Saitama did it. He watched dumbfoundedly at the dignified dragon-level weirdo falling to the ground for no reason. Even half a lifetime, he subconsciously thought that Saitama had rushed to attack Hammond. However, after another thought, he denied the idea. If Saitama had taken the shot, Hammond had already become a sparse corpse. How could it be intact? Since it's not Saitama, who did it? He was confused. Hammond's appearance was intact, indicating that the injuries that caused it to be cut off came from the body. It was obviously severely injured internally. However, he really couldn't think of any strong man in the world that could do something similar to Hammond. The stunt of hitting cattle from across the mountain, inflicting heavy damage to it without any damage on the outside, this incredible ability is amazing. However, if he lowered his body and turned his ears to Hammond's mouth, perhaps he would understand the truth. But, it's old. The old disease has a heart attack at this moment. Ah. Ha, medicine. When the medicine stays in the clothes and upgraded to become a dinosaur, I broke my clothes again, I'm going to die. But I'm not reconciled. Clearly I can kill King immediately, obviously I'm one step closer to my dream, but why are you old? God will make me fall short. Hammond's body twitched slightly because of the colic of the heart. He didn't have the slightest strength in his whole body. He was breathing fast, staring at the King who was looking down at him, and his face was unwilling. However, his pupils were slightly divergent at the moment, and his consciousness was even more intense. Gradually blurred, most of the body has gone to hell. My dream of rebuilding the dinosaur family is over. Before he plunged into darkness, he still remembered his dream of persisting for decades, but unfortunately, everything was gone. His luck was too bad. He was upgraded to a dinosaur, and he still stubbornly followed him with old problems such as heart disease. Before running arbitrarily in L City and M City, the violent activities and high emotions deeply stimulated his heart, and then caused a heart attack at a critical moment, causing him to die, and decades of persistence vanished. More importantly, he died inexplicably, which added a greater reputation to the king, who was quick to kill. The citizens who witnessed his death and the audience in front of the TV attributed his death to the king, thinking that King used weird things. Superpower beheaded him. Alas, sad. King Hammond died unjustly, and the citizens escaped from the shadow of death. They were very excited, their faces blushing, and they yelled, "Kill the dragon-level weirdo and save their great hero King." Here to express their gratitude for King's life-saving grace. King. The audience in front of the TV was infected by the citizens, and they screamed vigorously. They looked at the king high above the camera in admiration. He was their hero and the most powerful man on the surface. What? The corner of King's mouth twitched, and he looked at the cheering citizens stupidly. I killed the dragon-level weird again. Ah, what can I say? I was so frightened that I froze and didn't move, so that the credit for killing the dragon-level weirdo can be placed on me. You are afraid that it is not myopia of 3,000 degrees. King, I love you. King looked at the fanatical citizens and sighed slightly. Alas, come on, just be happy for you. King, what the hell is this boring expression? Allosaurus has been paying attention to King's every move. After seeing King's sigh, his eyes widened and his face was full of surprise. Has King really despised the dragon-level weirdness? After killing the dragon-level weirdo, there is no trace of happiness, but rather lonely. Oh, yes, a strong man of the level of King has long no longer been interested in pursuing glory. His only pursuit is probably to find a rival. The kind of invincible loneliness should be uncomfortable. City Z. That King, sigh. The big-eyed weirdo stared at the king with piercing eyes. He clearly killed the dragon-level weird, and obviously got another great credit. He clearly let his fame reach the world again. Why? Why would King sigh? Is that an empty sigh? Yes, King is the most powerful man on the surface, and he can't beat the cold from the heights. Under his glorious appearance, he must be lonely and snow-like emptiness. He has reached the strongest, and even the dragon-level weird never gave him anything. The interest in fighting, the loneliness that no one can beat, perhaps others will never understand. He chuckled. King, you are a big threat to our association. What should I? How to deal with you? City G. The fourth atomic warrior of the S-class hero sharpened the apple with his knife, staring at the TV for an instant. Sigh of the strong. I dare to be called the strongest man before passing my level. King, although you are very strong, in comparison, I admire the old martial arts man in Z City even more. As for you, you are still a little tender. City Z. The third S-class hero, Bangu, has silver hair, a slightly bowed body, and standing with his hands behind him. Behind him is a steaming lobster hot pot. His only disciple, Cha Lanzi, is actively adding seasonings to the hot pot. Master, the hot pot is ready. After a long while, Cha Lanzi yelled to Bangu. However, there was no response from Bangu. He looked up at Bangu suspiciously, and saw Bangu fixedly looking at the TV screen. Master, what's so good about this? Didn't it mean that King killed a dragon-level weird? Hurry up and eat the hot pot, or the dishes will be cooked in a while. Cha Lanzi leaned over and took a few glances, and found that it was the latest live broadcast of the dinosaur invasion in M City. He happened to see the scene where King killed the dragon-level weird and was sought after by the people. Bangu retracted his gaze from the TV screen and suddenly said to Cha Lanzi, do you want a junior? What? Cha Lanzi looked at the serious Bangu in a daze, and didn't know how to answer for a while. Old man, I found a good seed. King did not expect that his every move was seen by people, and he was misunderstood by all kinds of misunderstandings. He clearly felt that everyone put the credit for killing the dragon-level weirds on him, but he was slightly moved in the eyes of those with a heart. Become the emptiness of the strong. Invincible and lonely. What is this all about? Fortunately, He didn't know everyone's thoughts, otherwise he would be dumbfounded, and everyone's imagination was too rich. It's another 4-star card. King ignored the inexplicable pursuit of the citizens, lowered his body on Hammond, glanced at Hammond's huge body. His heart was hot. Hammond was defined as a dragon-level weird by the association, and he was calculated according to the usual card level. The card level of the dragon monster should be 4 stars. He raised his brows and touched Hammond expectantly. Ding! Congratulations to host for obtaining a 3-star monster card Tyrannosaurus. Quote. King's mouth twitched slightly. Samsung card. Shouldn't dragon monsters correspond to 4-star monster cards? Is this dinosaur man in front of him a pseudo-dragon level monster? Oh, think about it carefully. The dragon monster represents the disaster level, not the combat effectiveness. Perhaps the dinosaur man in front of him has caused a certain disaster before he was promoted to the dragon rank. The actual combat effectiveness is not too high, so the system evaluation was given a 3-star card. Card level. Alas, I'm so happy. He sighed in his heart, bad luck. Take this opportunity and escape. Allosaurus looked at the people's attention completely on King, and King was lamenting that there was no rival in the world, lonely as snow, and everyone ignored him. Not only did he not get angry, but he was overjoyed, and he tried to slip away quietly. Go. He surrendered before seeing the situation, and then he betrayed King and threw King at Hammond. Repeatedly, he showed the villain style to the fullest. It is estimated that King has been displeased with him, so stay and wait until King reacts. I'm finished. Thinking back now, he really wanted to slap himself twice, but he said that his hand was short and couldn't touch his face. I will write down these 2 slaps for the time being. Afterwards, slap others in the face. Now it is important to escape. The dinosaur man is going to run away. King, kill him. However, his figure was too large and eye-catching, and a little movement was immediately noticed, and the citizens shouted. Hurry up, follow King to death. This time we must capture the process of King killing the weird person. When Dale and the others heard this, their eyes lit up. Just now they were patronizing the escape and missed the shot of King killing the weirdo. They regretted it afterwards. The shots shot by King were worth a lot of money, and they obviously had the opportunity to capture the priceless shots. Down, but unfortunately missed it. When they sighed, they never expected God to give them another chance. Allosaurus. King came back to his senses and was shocked. His hatred for Allosaurus rose to his heart just now. This despicable dinosaur dared to surrender and almost killed him under the fangs of Tyrannosaurus. He secretly vowed before to string Allosaurus for barbecue, sprinkle some cumin by the way, and start eating after pinching the ends. It is definitely a rare and nutritious game. When the citizens shouted, Allosaurus immediately froze and did not dare to flee again. Even if the exit was right in front of his eyes, he could escape as long as he leapt hard. However, he did not dare. He knew he could not escape. Although his speed is quite fast, but compared with Velociraptor, it is far behind. Even Velociraptor's speed dinosaur has not escaped the claws of King, let alone he is clumsy. Therefore, he only thought for a second, and decisively stopped running away. Hello. He turned stiffly, laughed a few times, and then looked at the slowly flying King with anxiety. King, release your Inferno Warrior's explosive heat wave cannon. The Emperor's mouth cannon. No, it should be the use of weird and unpredictable superpowers like killing the dragon-level weird Tyrannosaurus. The citizens looked at King and Allosaurus with excitement and expectation. They opened their eyes and stared at each person and dragon carefully, for fear of missing the slightest detail. As the King approached, cold sweat dripped quietly on the forehead of the Allosaurus dinosaur, and he swallowed saliva again and again, and the crotch became more anxious to urinate, exposing the panic in his heart. King stared at the Allosaurus, thinking secretly about how to deal with it. Allosaurus was not low in strength, and could not get rid of it when the ghost-level monster card possessed his body. Using the dragon-level monster card was wasted and entangled. The Allosaurus was fighting in 2 battles, almost wanting to collapse, and sneaking at King in his heart. It's done. King kept staring at me. Is it thinking of how to kill me? He must be very angry when he treated King like this before. I'm dead. What to do? Well, maybe there is a way. He took a deep breath, puffed, knelt decisively, and shouted, "I surrender." What? The corner of King's mouth twitched. What are you doing this trick again? Ha ha. However, King disagrees, and the other people are shocked. Surrendered. Ghost-level weirdo surrendered to King. The ghost-level weirdo was so scared that he surrendered to King. The citizens trapped in the shelter looked dumbly at the Allosaurus kneeling on the ground. This kind of cartilage is really a ghost-level weirdo. Is that a lie? Shouldn't ghost-level weirdos be those majestic demon kings? How did it become a wall of grass? The surrender of Allosaurus subverted the image of ghost-level weirdness in many people's minds. The ghost-level weirdo surrendered to King. King is mighty, and with his momentum, he forced a ghost-level weird to land, which is the first time ever. Hi, King is probably not only the strongest man, but also the strongest on the surface. When a person stops there, he immediately frightens the ghost-level monster to kneel and surrender. It is really terrifying. The audience in front of the TV also took in air conditioning frequently, staring at the surrendering Allosaurus and the, usually, King, and they all came up with the same thought: King is invincible. Master King, I surrender, I surrender. Allosaurus wept bitterly and repented loudly. I was blinded by lard just now. I actually wanted to kill you and kill innocent people. I know I deserve to die, but who is not in life? I will make mistakes. Please give me another chance to reform. I will be a dragon again, serve the people, and work for the welfare of the people. In the future, I will only look after you and kill the evil weird people who destroy our homeland. Quote. King watched the performance of Allosaurus. His face was speechless, and he knew in his heart that this kind of repetitive villain would definitely not surrender sincerely. If there is a good chance in the future, it will definitely bite itself back, and this kind of bad weird person, he really didn't want to take it back as a mount, so he just killed it. Allosaurus slapped his chest and vowed loudly, Master King, I will definitely change my past mistakes in the future, actively do good, work hard to do good, and make up for the mistakes I made. Smelly King, let go of that dragon-level weirdo and let me come. Just as King was falling into contemplation, there was a sudden cry from the sky. At the same time, a green light swept over quickly, which was the long-overdue tornado. King looked at the tornado lacing like a shooting star in surprise. That's the second of the S-rank heroes, the trembling tornado. The citizens who were cheering for King stared blankly at the tornado standing between King and Allosaurus, and they were silent for a while. Humph. Tsunere, the standing tornado holding his chest, snorted, What? King, you are known as the strongest man, but you didn't kill the dragon-level weird after you came so long. Instead, you confronted the weird. What others said is so powerful. She stretched out her hand to point to King, and said with certainty, the winner of this bet is destined to be me, the trembling tornado. A bet. King thought for a while before remembering that he and Tornado seemed to have made a bet. Well, I remember, we did have a bet. The one who kills the dragon-level weirdo wins first, right? Right, you said so. Asshole, you didn't take the bet on your mind at all. Tornado squeezed his small hand, his eyes rolled, and angrily said, What, in order to win this bet, I bet day and night chasing the dragon-level weirdo, you almost forgot to bet. King, you are too much. The citizens stared blankly at the two facing each other in midair, gambling. The one who kills the dragon monster first wins. They look weird, their eyes can't help but float to Hammond, whose body hasn't completely cooled off. King seems to have won. Tornado has mistaken a dragon-level weirdo. The weird she is fighting over with King is just a ghost-level disaster. When Zeke, who was far away in City A, saw this scene, he couldn't help but pat his forehead. Sending a tornado to City M was a big mistake. With King, no matter how chaos in City M, no matter how weird people are, it only takes time. Enough, King can solve all of them one by one, letting the tornado go is making trouble. Originally, King's excellent performance has won the cheers of the citizens, which is very helpful to eliminate the bad influence of the association, but the tornado has completely destroyed the good situation. The audience in front of the TV twitched. Eldest sister, are you 3-year-old Loli? The dragon-level weirdo is dead. The surrendered bone is just an incompetent ghost-level weirdo. Don't fight, hurry up and let King take care of it. We have to watch King kill the weird. Oh, That's the weirdo who ran to M City, right? At the same time, Saitama, who had been looking for the weird for a long time, ran to the shelter and found the Allosaurus standing in the shelter with a big hole. Allosaurus was anxiously awaiting the final judgment, and suddenly found a bitter nag attacking him fiercely. He snorted and dismissed Saitama. Who did he think he was? King. HMPH, if it weren't for King's nose, Lousy would sit on you to death. Forehead. In midair, King looked at Tornado with a slight embarrassment. The last bet was purely to get rid of Tornado's entanglement and casually said. He didn't expect Tornado to be so serious and persevering to defeat him. Tornado stared at King with his hands on his hips. Smelly King, whether you remember the bet or not, in short, I will definitely win this time. Boom. However, as soon as the Tornado Tsunere's voice fell, there was a muffled noise from behind, and then the ticking sounds of scattered objects falling to the ground continued to sound. After finishing work, you can go to the supermarket to sell it. Saitama shook his gloves casually, glanced at the King and the Tornado that were still facing each other in midair, and then ran to the M City Special Supermarket in a hurry, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. The Tornado stiffened and turned to stare at Allosaurus. At this moment, Allosaurus had already become a mess of flesh, and its head was so thin that it could not be distinguished. Its huge body fell with a bang, and the flesh was splashed. With blood flowing across, the Allosaurus, who likes to be smart, died without even making a scream. The Tornado was stunned, the King was stunned, and the citizens were even more stunned. How did Allosaurus die? Who killed it? Looking at the head injury of the Allosaurus, it is obvious that it was broken by someone with a heavy object. This injury is particularly familiar, much like the appearance of a king who beats a strange man with a punch on weekdays. For a while, the citizens focused their eyes on the King again, and their eyes gradually became frenzied. They must be staring at the King. However, their naked eyes could not even catch the afterimage of the King's shot. Killing Tron, this is the King, whether it is power or speed, it is the Supreme King. The undoubtedly strongest man in the world King. R City. Flash stared at the TV screen, his face was solemn. King. So fast, not only did others not catch a trace of King, even he, who is known for his speed, never saw any trace of King moving. How fast is it? I dispatched to kill the weird in an instant, and then returned to the place in an instant. It didn't take a breath of time to come and go. If it weren't for the weird person to die suddenly, I am afraid that no one would know that King had moved just now, at a terrifying speed. I thought that even if King is the strongest man, I can still beat him in terms of speed, but now it seems that my speed seems inferior to King. King, for the sake of dignity, it is time for us to formally compete in a speed battle. See who is the king of speed. Tornado glared at King and said loudly, King, you are too despicable. Take advantage of my distraction and kill the weirdo. You are shameless, this time the bet doesn't count. Ha, King was taken aback, pointing to himself, I killed it. He was also ignorant of the death of Allosaurus. He once thought it was Tornado that killed Allosaurus with superpowers, but it depends on the appearance of Tornado. It seems that killing Allosaurus is someone else. Saitama. He moved in his heart and quickly glanced around Allosaurus. He didn't find the bald head that could reflect the light. However, he saw an interesting leaflet, the supermarket sale leaflet. It really was Saitama. He thought wickedly, this guy wouldn't be going to the supermarket for special sale, passing by and killed Allosaurus by the way. Hey, King, you ignore me again, I want to fight you. The Tornado is crazy, and the bet was lost. He didn't pull King from the strongest. I hate it. I reject. King curled his lips, how could he have the time to accompany you in a duel? Tornado stared at King with arms akimbo. Smelly King, you coward, spineless. King glanced at the strange-faced citizens and twitched his mouth. Hey, Tornado, shall we make another bet? In order to perfuse the Tornado, what about another bet? Well, it's a deal. The one who wins this time will definitely be me, the trembling Tornado. Tornado pointed at King, and Tsunere said, however, last time it was your winning criterion, so this time I will set the content of the test. This time we will test superpowers. Superpower. King was taken aback, and said, I don't understand. The Tornado looked at the King standing in midair. She pinched her small hand and wished to pull a meteorite down to kill the stinky king. She took a deep breath and hugged her chest and snorted coldly. Besides, if you lose this time, in the future you are not allowed to be called a king, but should be called a smelly king. King was speechless. Then if you lose, are you not allowed to call it the trembling tornado, but the standing cabbage? Who do you call Kaiwan? Tornado glared at King, and immediately raised his little head. Humph, let you go this time, and, for the time being, I didn't think of how to compare the superpowers. I will think of it later. Let me inform you again that you must be ready to fight at any time. King said helplessly. I really don't understand superpowers. Tornado clenched his small fist tightly, resisting the urge to beat King, turned around, and with a sizzle, the green light flashed across the sky and disappeared into everyone's eyes. Go so fast. King looked at the missing tornado and sighed slightly. Forgot to tell you that the weird you just guarded was just a ghost-level weirdo. The dragon-level weird has already died somehow. Ding! Congratulations to host for acquiring a 3-star monster card Allosaurus. King didn't have much emotion for the death of Allosaurus. He himself wanted to kill this unscrupulous guy before. Therefore, after Allosaurus died, he calmly stepped forward and touched it. After obtaining the card, he immediately turning around and leaving. He didn't even pause to deal with the enthusiastic people. It's not that he is cold, but there are so many citizens. Once he stops to deal with it, the citizens will definitely flock to him. At that time, I am afraid that he did not die at the hands of the weirdo but died in the stampede accident. That would be a tragedy. Moreover, fame is a cloud for him now. His fame has almost reached its peak, and there is basically no room for improvement. Besides, fame is of no use to him, but it is a big burden. Every time the association meets when it comes to an unsolvable weirdo, I always think of him. Please, he is just a nerd, how can he have the strength to deal with those powerful weirdos? So his huge reputation has become a burden in his life, both heavy and troublesome. Citizens stared blankly at King's unfeeling back view who didn't understand humanity and sophistication. This is the strong one. He is cold and arrogant, righteous and ruthless. In order to have a stronger power to resist the weird people, he stays away from the crowd and struggles alone. Cultivation has caused him to become stronger, but gradually loses his human touch, and suffers from a problem similar to communication disorder. King has paid a heavy price to protect us. In the midair of M City, King didn't know the messy thoughts of the citizens at all, looked for the direction home, and slowly drifted towards the house. Although there were some twists and turns during the invasion of the dinosaurs this time, the harvest was very rich. More than 20 monster cards were started. More importantly, there were 4 ghost-level monster cards. In the rare case of weirdos, the fighting power of ghost-level weirdos can almost ramp up the world. Now he adds the leopard-headed hedgehog weird card in front, and there are a total of 5 ghost-level weird cards, plus dozens of them. Zhang Hulong level monster card, enough for him to squander it with confidence and boldness. He pulled down his attribute board. Before, in order to upgrade his skills, he deliberately upgraded to level 10, and later he increased to level 12 with the experience of an Ankylosaurus ghost level monster, and gained a lot of attribute points. Name: Wang Feng. English name: King. Level: 12. Experience value: 27,887,000. Stamina: 16. Strength: 7. Speed: 16. Defense: 38. Lucky value: hidden attributes, can't be viewed, can't be changed. Attribute points: 0. Skills: 1. Liquid Jet LV1. Jet liquid out to attack the enemy. 2. Explosive Energy Bomb LV2. Collect the surrounding energy and launch an energy bomb like a laser cannon. 3. Strengthen Transformation LV2. Strengthen your own abilities, and make your skills more powerful. 4. Flying LV2. As the messenger of the earth, you can fly freely in the earth. Skill points: 10. Cards: 4-star monster card Desire Arbitrator, 3-star monster card Tyrannosaurus. Special card: No star card X1. Warm reminder: 1. Every attribute of a normal person is 5. Full value is 100. 2. The power of the skill depends on the level and is not affected by the character itself, but the number of times the skill is released is affected by the power attribute. No star card. King browsed through his attribute board, only to find that he was given a star-free card when he was upgraded to level 10. When the system kept beeping, his focus was on small reputation, but he was a little ignored. A card without a star rating. Just mirror and copy the target to make the corresponding card. After reading the introduction of the unstarred cards, his eyes lit up, and a reflective head appeared in his mind. Saitama, this kind of card was born for Saitama. However, when I thought that I was picking up the leak behind Saitama before, I didn't react at all to copy Saitama with unstarred cards, which caused the opportunity to be missed in vain. Now I have to go to the door by myself, cheating. Oh, that's all. Go to City Z to talk to Saitama about the importance of hairstyles. A hidden research institute on the outskirts of Z City. A young man with dark green hair, wearing a suit and glasses, stared straight at the full-length photo of King on the computer screen. He tightly grasped the edge of the table with his hands, his eyes revealed fiery. Yes, with such a powerful strength, he must have broken through the limiter, and he is a new human who has evolved. I need his genes, I need him. I want to use him as an experimental sample. He is likely to become an opportunity for human evolution. On the 28th, we will send our messengers to find a way to obtain King's blood. I want to study his genes and make our species evolution experiments go further. Understood. In the shadows, there is a man who looks exactly like a young man, wearing an ancient white prison uniform with the number 28 on his chest, nodding. Somewhere in the world. Chuck, is there any better killer group in M City? Sir, a killer group is gaining momentum recently. In just over a month, it has been promoted from a rookie organization to the overlord of the killer community in M City, and it is well known in the killer community all over the world. Fafa Killer Group. Don't be as useless as the Want Killer Group last time, bid 1 billion and let them kill King. Sir, why must he be obsessed with killing King? He is a righteous person and does not harm our interests. There is not much why. If you insist on saying a reason, then the reason is, the world is not allowed to exist such a powerful person. Understand. Understood, I will contact Fafa Killer Group now. The room fell into silence again. City G. A large research institute. A half-bald head, a circle of white fluffy hair on the back of his head and ears, a nose and big buck teeth, his face full of insidious and sinister looks. He stared at the King on the screen, thoughtfully. My newly developed G model, the robot, has been developed, and the first generation of G1 has been produced. However, the combat experience is very insufficient. You need to fight against the strong to collect combat information and improve the combat method of the G model robot. King is about the most powerful man in the world. If you want to collect battle data, he is definitely the best candidate for experimentation. He Jijiwayan laughed. Then King, please take care of my latest scientific and technological research result G1. M City. Special Sale Supermarket. Saitama was holding the supermarket sale leaflet, looking at the closed supermarket, holding his head in madness. It's closed, obviously the sale time is not over yet, so it was actually closed. What? I ran so far away, nothing. I didn't buy it. My special sale cabbage, special sale hot pot base. Brother, the city of M was invaded by dinosaurs, and most of the citizens have already taken refuge in shelters. How could the supermarket be opened? City A. Heroes Association Headquarters. Report President, the unknown team killed another tiger-level weird. So far, they have killed 3 tiger-level weird in a row, but they have also lost a lot of manpower. Maria reported truthfully that in this dinosaur invasion, they were surprised to find that in addition to the professional heroes of the association, there was still a tenacious team hunting and killing the weirdos. After their inquiries, they learned that this team is called the Hunter Self-Defense Force, the captain is Axel, and all members are victims of the weird disaster. Their relatives died more or less in the hands of the weird, so they hated the weird. Into the bones, spontaneously form the self-defense forces, and hunt down weirdos regardless of life or death. Hunter Self-Defense Force, CIC was thoughtful. When the Heroes Association was first established, most human elites were eager to join the Heroes Association. However, as time passed, the association exposed more and more problems and scandals, leading to many outstanding recent. The talent declined the invitation of the association, revealing an attitude of distrust of the association, which is worrying. Continue to pay attention to them, timely contact and win over them, and see if they can be integrated into the association's power system. Understand. Collison, who is in charge of the hero business, pushed his glasses and nodded solemnly. Maria reported again. By the way, Minister, most of the dinosaurs in M City have been wiped out, and a small number of dinosaurs have been arrested by the heroes and have been detained in the weird prison in M City. The dinosaur disaster has basically been resolved. In addition, as of now so far, 4 of the top 5 finished dinosaurs have been confirmed dead, including Ankylosaurus, but the Fengshan pterosaurs have been missing and their whereabouts are unknown. No sign. Ziki frowned deeply. Have you searched the sky and the suburbs of M City? We asked the government to use satellites to search, and no flying objects were found in the sky above M City. As for the outskirts, the minister, the suburbs of M City are too large to complete the search in a short time. Well, continue to search, and at the same time broadcast to the world announcing that with the efforts of our association, the dinosaur invasion has been perfectly resolved. As Ziki said, as for the treatment of this disaster, the benevolent will see the benevolent and the wise. Yes. Jace immediately asked Siki and said, Minister, do you want to announce our plan to enslave the weirdo while solving the Dinosaur Man incident? Ziki was taken aback, and waved his hand boringly. Oh, no, King's strange pet and the Allosaurus who later surrendered all have riots and murders, which is annoying. Through these few things, you can see, ordinary people still can't accept the situation of living with weird people. There is a long way to go. Sichi originally planned to whitewash the king and announce the plan of the association, but after the invasion of the dinosaurs, the reputation not only did not decline, but became a mess. Many young people regarded King as an idol, and even more so. There are countless girls who regard King as her husband. King no longer needs them to wash white. Moreover, the people generally cannot accept the appearance of weird people on the street. Besides, there is no breakthrough in the association's experiment of enslaving weird people. Recall the old thing. King completely ignored how the association dealt with the invasion of M City by the public relations dinosaurs, and even ignored the enthusiastic worship of the citizens. He has already been honored for 3 years, and he is accustomed to all kinds of people's praise and admiration. This time it's just a bit hotter than usual. It's not interesting. It's better to stay at home and play 2 games, and wait a few days after the dinosaur turmoil has subsided, and then go to Z City to find Saitama to copy a bald-level monster card as the trump card. When he thinks that he has the opportunity to experience the extraordinary power of Saitama, King is a little excited. He is even more vigorous to fight the King of Fighters. He gives his opponent a 5-minute combo. Even the opponent's character has already died and never stopped. However, before he went out to find Saitama, Tongdi called and invited him to study an experiment with elementary school students in the suburbs of Y City. He refused at first, saying that he had no time to play with Tongdi, and he asked Saitama to copy the unstarred card. However, under the plea of Tongdi, King hesitated for a while and felt that he could take a trip to City Y. Anyway, City Y and City Z are adjacent. After helping Tongdi to complete the experiment, he can transfer to City Z. Soon he promised to go to Y City tomorrow. Ding dong. When he just hung up Tongdi's phone, the doorbell rang suddenly. Well, he looked slightly puzzled. Who would look for him at this time? People in the world who know his address can count it with their fingers. Only the staff of the association can usually come to the door. The association issues benefits, or did someone else go the wrong way? Through the cat's eyes, he saw a heroic man wearing a black long-sleeved t-shirt, a white vest, white gloves, and white knee-pad combat pants carrying a bag of apples. He was not sure where the people outside the door came from, so he simply asked, "People outside the door, who are you looking for?" He didn't want to expose his address, otherwise he would definitely be surrounded by the masses the next day. 3 outer layers. The heroic man said politely, "I'm looking for Mr. King. Is Mr. King at home?" "Well, I know that this is my house. Is it really a member of the association?" King was slightly puzzled and opened the door. Click. After seeing King, the heroic man smiled and handed over the apple respectfully and said, "Mr. King, I haven't seen you for a long time. After the last incident, I have been thinking of you, so I came to visit today, hoping to not disturb you. You take a rest." "Huh, who are you?" King glanced at the heroic man suspiciously. Can't remember where he saw him. What happened last time? What happened last time? The heroic man laughed and said, Mr. King may not recognize me. After all, I didn't show my face last time, so let me introduce myself formally. In Lower Axel, I am currently the captain of the Hunter Self-Defense Force. King raised his brows. Hunter Self-Defense Force? I don't know. Axel explained with a bleak expression. The Hunter Self-Defense Force is a newly established weird resistance army. During the more than 10 years of weird raging, many human beings have lost their homes, lost their loved ones, and become lonely in grief. The earth lives in the world, living day and night in a haunting manner. Whenever a stranger strikes, the pain of losing a loved one will always tear their hearts and make them painful and unbearable, but they have to endure the misery from hell. Quote. King watched Axel tell a lot of tragic stories in a mess. The more I listened, the more greasy I was. I know that you lived hard, lived sorrow, and lived miserably, but it's my shit. I'm just an otaku who plays games as a whole, has no ability to ease the pain in your hearts. The members of the Hunter Self-Defense Force are all desolate people, and I am no exception. Once, I had a happy family, with a virtuous wife and good-natured and filial children. The family is full of laughter and laughter every day. However, since the appearance of the weird man, all the good things are dashed, and I am destined to be happy and happy for the first half of my life, but lonely and sad for the second half of my life. Axel didn't see King's look getting darker and darker. He was immersed in his sad past, and talked about his past endlessly. Boom. The corner of King's mouth twitched and he closed the door directly, blocking the dumbfounded Axel from the door. If you want to enter the door, please summarize what you want to say within 30 words. I don't have the time to talk nonsense with you. I still play games. Playing games. Axel looked dumbfounded. Does King's daily life involve playing games? Shouldn't it be crazy cultivation? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.